But it was connected, was
wasn't.
You must use this code, CJ. You can sit there. And then on sal beginnen. I watch a lot of debates and discussions on YouTube. Yeah, hours and hours, hours that you can't even believe. My typical evening is watching either a debate or a discussion on YouTube. Some are from different shows, Europe, BBC shows, American shows, universities, and you also have Google Talks. That's a lot of stuff that they put up there, where they discuss everything, man. Everything from any topic you can think of. Obviously, there are many more that are not posted on YouTube because people, don't want to share that material. But they're mostly free, and you can tap into them. And then you can hear how what people are thinking about different types of topics and subjects that that are interesting to you. But YouTube is a minefield, It's a mine full of stuff to discover, and there's just so much stuff there that you can't even imagine.
YouTube is what this television is supposed to be.
Yeah,
but it's said to be like.
Yeah,
channels there, and you can literally just switch between whatever you want.
I was talking to Wilson, one of the creatives in the industry, that we work with on many contracts and stuff. And just on Friday, that he was asking me the same question, and that's the same answer I gave him actually. And he was asking me, where is this YouTube thing going? And I told him, look, Google said from the beginning that that's the future of television.
Well, basically,
and now already, I don't watch TV. I don't watch SABC. I don't watch nothing. If I want to watch something that is emotional, I go to YouTube.
I don't do that as well.
But then that's because I've got unlimited data.
Yes, because
it's part of
video on demand.
Yeah, it's part of what helps me.
Yeah.
A lot of people really YouTube will chow your cash. Now I used to watch YouTube and I'd get $30 chowed in like 10 minutes. $30 like airtime gone. I was like, whoa, this thing is dangerous.
Yeah, it's bad.
YouTube is bad when it comes to data. It's one of the most amazing, you know,
On the
data.
regular, I'd say the best thing for now is probably ATA. In terms of data.
Yeah,
because
yeah. Data seems to be
you
leading
get 10
that.
gig
Yeah.
for like what, 199 a month for an extra, I think.
For how many? 10 gig?
Yeah, for 10 gig, 199.
Yo.
It's the most
Affordable.
cheapest right now.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, it depends on the speed,
Yeah.
though. But
Yeah.
because I know that MTN does unlimited data for 200 per month also. 200 per month. But then the speed is ridiculous.
But now, isn't it
It's
about 3
ridiculously
megabytes
slow.
per second or 7 megabytes per second? Or you remember
Depends,
the
it
conference?
depends, yeah, on the
Yeah.
megabytes.
It depends on that. And then if you say okay fine, how much data does Bond consume in 1 month? I can easily consume some 5 to 7 gig.
A month.
Yeah. Unlimited. Because the thing is, you don't always download stuff. You don't always, as much as sometimes I will download a 5 gig thing. Okay, it'll take some 2-3 days to download some 5 gig thing. Just leave it downloading. Okay, but I don't do that every day. So, and every month I don't actually necessarily reach 5-7 gig. I don't. On a typical month, actually, I'll use most probably less than 4 gig. So what will work for me is to go for 8, as opposed to going for unlimited slow speed on MTN. I'd rather go for fast speed 10 gig on
Straight, yeah.
8. I'd rather go for fast speed 10 gig on 8. It will serve me better than to go for unlimited slower speed on MTN because it's ridiculous.
It's about the speed. I don't care how much.
I also
I really
think
need to know about your speed.
justice and I need that good connectivity fast as well. What's the point of
That's
having
true.
1 megabyte per second? I mean, yeah.
What 1 megabyte per second is ridiculously fast, comrade.
No.
What these guys give me, it's 30 kilobytes per second.
Yes.
That's 30% of 1 megabyte per second.
No. Sorry, I meant there's 1.3.
That's ridiculously
There's
fast.
7. No. Kilobytes.
What?
There's 21. Dude, they've got this at one point with the BlackBerry curve.
Yeah.
So when you're probably downloading something, it's you sitting there and it's just giving you 3 kilobytes per second.
Yeah.
You know, yo.
3 kilo. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, it's not far from 1.7.
That's death.
Exactly. 3 per second.
Never.
I think that's
In an hour.
But then, are you? When you say 3 kilobytes per second, are you talking about the download program that you're using, or are you talking about downloading your normal website?
No, I'm talking about, let's say, downloading a file, G. Downloading a file.
Using what? Internet Explorer?
No.
Chrome?
No, I was talking about the curve. I was talking about the phone. I was talking about Edge.
What? Edge, yeah. 8520.
Yeah, bro.
Nah, that's stupid. No, that one is just ridiculous. That is the most stupidest thing. It's why I took my BlackBerry, I gave it to my dad. I said, give me your E63 Nokia. Give me, no. I need 3G, really. I can't survive with this stupid. And I bought my BlackBerry cash, but I thought because of unlimited data, 60 rands per month, but I later realized this is ridiculous. You can't even, really, downloading 1 megabyte with that device is just ridiculous. It's just foolish.
Even a big
Makes
website
no sense.
sometimes don't open.
Exactly. Yeah. They don't
have to,
open.
yeah.
No. Became pathetic. So, it's one of those things. But data is one of the most important arguments of the day today. I'm using an MTN modem. That modem is 500 per month, unlimited, with 3 gig. Right? 3 gig high speed. 3 gig high speed at 1 megabyte per second. Once that 3 gig is done, you go down to 27, 30 kilobytes per second. That's how it is. That 3 gig disappears in 2 to 3 days of YouTube. 2 to 3 days of YouTube, 3 gig is gone. It's gone.
Is that how much you get here a month?
Yeah, I get 3 gig high speed, 1.1 megabyte per second.
Oh yeah.
Then I can watch YouTube. But within 3 days, it's done.
And then the rest is what, uncapped?
The rest is uncapped at 30 kilobytes per second.
That's like a cell phone.
So they cut you down 70% of the speed. They cut down actually 70% of the speed. Then you're left with only 30% of the original.
I think 180 has 1.3 straight up.
For the whole 10 gig, yeah, because they have to give you for the whole 10 gig.
1.3 megabits per second.
Then after that, it's done. It's over. You have to recharge. I think it's a good deal.
Yeah, I also think it is.
I'm going to use. I'm going on 8 as well. Celsius and their network is horrendous. To say
Data is. I saw these taxis that have Wi-Fi in them. It's like 8. You know these taxis that you see with them.
Yeah, those black and pink thingies.
Apparently, if you're inside of them, you get free internet.
I was inside. I never tried it.
You never tried it?
I wasn't notified.
Gosh, they're going deep.
It's printed on the car.
It's late at night, so I probably didn't see it.
It's printed on the car. You know, you just get inside and you access it. Just like McDonald's, they'll give you how much, CJ?
There's some that gives you an hour, and there's some that gives you 30 minutes only.
Is it? Okay. Yeah. Hey, the desire for data.
It's a
The
drug.
data wars.
It's a drug now.
Yeah. Now we've moved away from fighting for cheap phone calls. Now we're fighting for cheap data in South Africa. Eh? Remember there was a time when there was a war about who offers the cheapest calls per minute. Now it's
and SMSs and MMSs and all these things.
yeah, no one cares about
What
SMS.
sense MMSs? MMS worse.
MMS is one of the most. Okay, fine. It was beaten by Vomixit and now WhatsApp.
Now it's.
But I guess they just didn't see that coming. Eh?
Yeah.
Especially when Facebook came, MMS died. There's no need for it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
That's
front
true.
of
That's
Facebook,
true.
you're gonna see the picture.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
I just uploaded one last week or sharp, go through your wall.
When Facebook came, it all went down.
Social media.
Downstream.
Are you done there?
But anyway,
Yeah.
today we wanted to explore the subject of market segmentation and LSMs. I find that topic to be one of the most amazing topics. Like it's really, I believe, so far from what I've heard, I haven't done too much research into it, but I was hoping that in this session we get what we think, because I believe that what we think is more important than what is out there.
Yeah, I know. I also have that.
Have you realized that? Yeah.
I've also
Ever
seen
since this
it.
briefing started,
Yeah.
it has become clear that what we think is more important than what can be out there, because what's out there will not change your life unless you think in a specific way. I mean, it won't. If you tap into it, whatever is out there, you make it part of your system, then it changes your life. But in the current moment, for us to be able to change our perceptions, our own personal perceptions about these things, it's first to acknowledge what we think about these things, what we understand about these things, and whether these things are actually relevant to how we carry out our activities on a daily basis. Yeah. But the issue for me was to say, guys, is there a way that we can be able to define our markets? Because market segmentation is really going to deal with the issue of how much do you actually understand your market. And that video, Steve Jobs that we were watching earlier, it actually demonstrates, because I was looking for videos on YouTube, which can talk to the subject. Then I came across that video, and I thought, you know what, this video can, in a way, illuminate some issues when it comes to, you know, market segmentation and market segmentation and LSMs, to say, how did Steve Jobs actually understand his market segment? Because it was a segment, it was not everybody. It was not just about marketing to everyone. It was about marketing to specific people. And the way he breaks down, you know, what he feels is going to allow Apple to win against Sun Microsystems and HP and Dell is largely based, if you've noticed, on his understanding of what the people need, what the people want. Which means that he had such a great mastery of his market segment, understood what kind of people they are, what they feel, what they want, and what they want next, that he knew that the other guys were going to lose, or lacking, yes. Lacking, and they're going to lose because they don't understand the market the way he understands the market. So, what I've seen over the years is many entrepreneurs that I've met seem to have a generalized understanding of their market segments or their markets that they're supposed to actually target. As opposed to this crazy obsessive analysis that Steve Jobs has. He has this crazy analysis, this obsessive analysis and intelligence analysis of his market segment, and he really digs deep into them, understands their psyche, what they're thinking, and what they want next. Like
predictions, yeah.
Yeah, he can literally predict these people. Next thing they're gonna want is this, and he talks to them and he interviews them and he really digs deep into them. But then, how much research do we usually do in this country into our market segments or into our target markets? It seems, from the people that I've met so far, they do little. They tend to generalize everything. Come on, this is the music industry. Obviously, people want come on. You know, they tend to talk like that. You know, it's cars. You know, cars. People want cars. Obviously, people want normal cars that can have air conditioner. You know, they just generalize. Everything is generic to them. Generic. It's like, you know, obvious. You know,
yeah.
But then, at a certain point, for you to win against your competitors in the same market, you have to move away from generic to deep intelligence and deep analysis, which allows you to even see in the future what they're going to want. Because really, that's the success of Apple. They were able to see in the future what people are going to want. They worked on the stuff today. Tomorrow, when the people
when they start feeling that we need, then they introduce.
In fact, when they introduce the stuff, people realize that we actually needed this. As much as they subconsciously knew that they wanted it, but when you put it on the table, people jump on it because they're like, how did you know? How did you know?
Moment.
Thank you. So I feel that an under appreciation of our markets can be a problem. So then we come also to LSMs. The LSMs will be the second part of this, discussion, where we talk about living standards measure. The LSM measurement, which stands for living standard measure. Then we can look at that from a general perspective to say, okay, fine, what do we feel are the living standards of this country? What do we feel are the living standards of this country? What are they? As a country, as a whole, as a country that we live in, what do we feel people are ready to pay for? What do we feel the standards are in this country, right? But that we'll deal with in the second part. But initially, let's talk about the segments, the segmentation. Like, in marketing textbooks, you have market segmentation. Then they'll tell you, okay, fine, there's something called market segmentation, which means that you can say, oh, these are 5 to 10-year-olds. They think like this, they do this. These are 18 to 35-year-olds. They do this, they whatever, segments. But at the same time,
Religious.
segments are not only based on age or how much people spend, but they're also based on the behavior of people. Like, let's say, for example, if you say one market segment is the 1 year any club, for example, clubs, right? People who go to clubs, that's one market segmentation. People who actually eat at restaurants, right? Because eating at restaurants doesn't mean that everybody who earns the same amount actually eats at restaurants. Some people don't eat at restaurants, but they earn the same amount. They're in the same profession, but they don't eat at restaurants. They don't believe in eating at restaurants. They believe in buying their food and eating at home. That's another segment. So, segments can be of any shape and size that you can imagine.
Broken down.
Right.
The more segmentations you make is the more you specialize in the specific world, the more you focus on a specific segment.
Exactly.
So,
And you can still break it down
as general
as
as
well.
you want to.
As you want it to be.
As you want it to be.
Or as narrowed in as you want it to be. Right?
Yeah.
Right? So our discussion initially will be about what segments do we identify. Okay, then we can can just each one of us can basically talk about what segments that we believe actually exist, because then a segment can exist in somebody's mind and it might not exist in somebody else's mind, and it's almost subjective, but it's not subjective if you can back it up with evidence to say this segment exists because of this. It's. But this exercise, I think, it's going to help us to have better and stronger ways of defining segments for ourselves. So basically, it's to see how good are we at defining segments. Do we, because market segmentation can either be a textbook word, or you can actually it can be practical. It can either be a textbook word, market segmentation. We can sit here like academics and talk nothing the whole day without experience. But if we are able to back up what we think, actually this segment that we think exists actually is made up of, I think it will make for an interesting conversation. Then we feel free to challenge, someone's definition of a segment, and then that makes it interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say that first things first. This segmentation. It just basically defines two polarized sides or different sides in any group of individuals, any group of people, or any group or any part that you want to focus on, right? It starts very simple, male and female, and then it goes down to the age, and it goes down to their behavioral patterns. Now, once you get into the behavior patterns, that's when a whole lot of things come in, because a lot of things influence a person's behavior patterns.
Religion,
money,
interesting,
and then
education,
which is a lot of this. A lot of these segmentations are influenced by money. I'd say others just basically just depend on the financial part of things.
Okay.
But then that's how I see it. That's how I see it.
It's like a huge pie chart that is obviously sliced up into so many pieces, and within those pieces there are other pieces in there. I feel like it's huge. And I mean, looking at male and female, I wouldn't even move on to. I move into male and female, then move on, then just break it down and just say, okay, male and female, but what race? Start there, and then move into the ages, and then obviously, and then you're gonna get to, okay, those who live in town, that those live in the castles. And then within those castles is those suburban castles or the locations, the hoods. And then you're still going to have to move to the suburbs. And then still within the suburbs, you still have, you know, those broke guys. Yeah, exactly. You know, then you get those, you know, you get the mansions and stuff. Yo, I think if you were to get a team of experts and put them now here and give them a week to try and sketch out the market in Pretoria, not even just Pretoria. I think it would take them a while.
And the other thing is, it would probably depend on exactly the market that you want to focus on. It, you know, it would be determined by your product, you know, those kind of things. Because some information would be irrelevant to what you want to find out in terms of that market.
Okay.
You know, and for instance, the whole technology thing. Male and female, we both use technology. So the whole,
but in different ways.
In different ways, you know, and some things would be irrelevant, yet some things would affect. Some segmentations would affect your research a lot more than others.
Yeah. It's marketing services.
Yeah. Yes.
That allows you to take, like I say, a large pie chart and then divide it into smaller pieces that define the people that you want to sell to, means that you're around basically, like I said, household, how many people live in a household, you know, who in the household like will your product be relevant to, all that, breaking it into smaller pieces so that you can really understand who you're going to sell to and who's going to appreciate your product at the end of the day.
Okay. Obviously, then at the end of the day, there are economic factors that influence, you know, market segmentation and creates different kinds of segments. But obviously, then, you know, you get to have the so-called indirect influences that create segments and influence, you know, how a specific segment behaves, but you find that it's influenced from a secondary position or even a tertiary position. You find that something influences something and influences something, then creates a segment.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Then you find that you're dealing with the segment, but you find that for you to take full advantage of that market segment, you need to understand what influences its behavior on a secondary and on a tertiary level. Like, for example, hip-hop music influences on a secondary level. Then it creates a segment where people buy hip-hop products based on what, you know, influences them through music videos. So then music videos become the influence, but then the segment itself tends to rely on the music videos. So which means that if you wanted to take advantage of this market segment of hip-hop buyers, you would have to influence them via music videos, not via adverts in magazines or whatever, and sending them SMS, but you would influence them via...
You would have to capture the icons of the hip-hop industry.
Yes, as the primary,
even if they're in a magazine, you'd have to have the actual guide that this segment looks at or that is influenced by, probably wearing or, you know, And
then at that point you find that, let's say Kanye West, he's your secondary influencer in, you know, him along with Jay-Z and whatever, and whoever else, right? Now, these guys are on the secondary level. On the primary level, you would have to do adverts on TV of your clothes. That's the primary level, direct to your segment. Buy this hip-hop cool stuff. But then people are like, I don't want to buy it. Why should I buy it? Is it cool? Is it not cool? I don't know. But then if Jay-Z wears it, then it's cool.
Yeah.
So I can buy it, right? And then now Jay-Z, on a tertiary level, who influenced Jay-Z to actually wear that stuff so that the primary level can...
Man, I mean, you could always, it is marketing, and if you get Jay-Z to wear a certain item or clothing, you can buy him and get him to wear it. And it also goes back to the financial side and all these, which has an influence some way, somehow. I mean, a lot of things happen, but without money, some segments cannot influence others, or some influencers cannot influence a specific
the actual segment. Yeah.
And it might change the outcome of a certain, well, once something is placed in a certain segment, it could change the outcome if it was influenced in a certain way at the first sight or initial sighting of that particular thing. For instance, if it would have taken Jay-Z to know about hip-hop music, first things first, it would take for him to know about music, it would take for him, he would be influenced by artists in the hip-hop industry that are, chances are, doing the same thing and promoting brands. He wants to grow up and promote this you know, it just gets carried on and carried on.
Okay, but to me, it starts to look like you as a company trying to sell a specific product.
Yeah.
You become an influencer yourself. You become an influencer. So which means that if we have youth as the primary segment, on the primary level, then you have Jay-Z on the secondary level. Then you would be Jay-Z's influencer on the tertiary level. Because on the tertiary level, you would have to influence Jay-Z to wear the stuff.
Yes.
Right? For those people to buy your product, when are you coming on the top?
That's a crazy analysis.
When are you on the top and you're selling your product to the primary level, which is the actual market segment itself. Then in order to sell down there, you have to go up there.
And
you have to influence the influencer.
Yes, you have to influence the influencer, so the influencers can influence the primary segment. Then the primary segment buys your stuff. Then you make your money from up there. You influence them more, and it's a cycle now.
So in actuality, the secondary is only a channel.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you are on the secondary level. Sometimes you find that you are on the, like for example, a magazine like let's say Cosmopolitan or Men's Health as a secondary level influences men who are on the primary level, and then it tells men what to wear, what to eat, what to. You see what I'm saying? So then Men's Health can actually sell stuff to these men, and then these men will believe and buy it, and Men's Health makes money. And then tertiary influencers like Breitling watches can come and influence Men's Health and say, then Men's Health can put marketing material and whatever, then it influences the primary level, then people buy Breitling watches, then Breitling watches recycle the money back and influences Men's Health, so then it becomes like that.
And then they can get into other channels as well.
Exactly.
And the money comes back and decide, okay,
yeah,
it's Men's Health plus whoever that they want to have.
Yeah, or it could be Breitling influencing Tiger Woods, who is interviewed by Men's Health, then Men's Health influences the men using Tiger Woods, then the men buy the Breitling watches, it just makes the money. So that the cycle of influence in terms of defining what the market segment actually does or behaves.
Does the tertiary have an influence? Is the primary market also an influencer then?
Most probably we can talk about maybe peer influences. To say, if there's competition on the primary level, people putting adverts on the primary level, which means on the TV level, billboards, whatever, then others are in that space as well competing. Like there's one guy pushing what Tiger Woods wears, then there's one guy pushing what Cristiano Ronaldo wears. Then it's like, okay, fine. In terms of sports, okay, are you the, like who do you like the most? Do you like Tiger Woods or do you like Cristiano Ronaldo the most? And then there's a war on the primary level to fight for the minds of the people people on the primary level. But then that war might be controlled by how much you actually spend now. How many adverts, like how many magazines you actually sell on each person, or how much even the person actually performs. I mean, if Tiger Woods wins, then news cover him more. Then you're forced to think about how much he wears. Then you're forced to think to see how much he wears actually. I mean, what he wears. Then you're like, I want to wear that.
I've been seeing this guy wearing that thing. Now it fits.
And now I want it. You know.
Yeah.
So then there are those ties as well that are tied to performance of the. Because then your system has to have specific markers for performance. I mean, if Tiger Woods loses, then you better ditch him.
Yeah,
leave him alone. Go find another star and invest in him. It's gonna be difficult to sell Nike shoes through Tiger Woods if he's losing.
Yeah.
A week ago, that whole I'm not really a football person.
Yeah, me too.
Offensive. But I follow markets and stuff, and so I saw that Reebok had dropped is it Rick Ross or Rick Ross? Yeah.
Who dropped?
Reebok had dropped.
Reebok, yes.
Had dropped Rick Ross because the lyrics in his songs were demeaning to women or something like that.
Oh.
So he lost.
Wow.
He lost.
It is true.
So he lost the endorsement deal.
There was one that was crazy. What? Feed them carrots and fuck them like a rabbit.
It was something about.
That's
And if you picture that, you shake your head like, no,
What were they thinking? That's one thing I don't understand.
I don't know. What were they thinking?
What was the...
Well, the thing is, you look at it, Rick Ross kind of influences a lot of people.
No. I mean, in terms of the very same guy that approached Rick Ross and said, hey, can you please market our product? Had to have listened to
initially,
music.
Exactly.
You can't jump for something that I've been doing.
They should have studied his music,
They didn't study
his
music.
character.
Probably they didn't. Yeah.
They just saw he's the one.
Yeah, he
that's-
has a market. He has
Yeah.
people. He's a very strong fan.
Yes.
So
they should have.
So it's also easy to get tangled in that whole hype girl. He's winning.
Yes.
And then you
Forgetting
forget
values and morals.
the
and
values
everything.
that your company is trying to uphold.
Nike wanted to teach Tiger Woods for cheating on his wife.
It was-
No,
But that's different. I mean, there's a thing.
No,
You may not know the internal when it comes to a relationship or breakups. You can't exactly want to ditch someone now or whatever because you feel like, hey, he's a bad man. He's, it's different, guys. I really feel like it's a personal thing that happened.
It's a thing, no?
You don't know what the hell happened.
In terms of that, I'd like to think that as marketers set the morality standards.
Yeah, actually.
That's it.
Because as soon as they pulled out, all of a sudden, everybody else that was endorsed by whoever, felt like, they have to be low.
It's a
now.
morality.
They can't have these divorce cases and all these crazy stories
But
brought into the public.
let me ask you something. Do we honestly believe that? Do we honestly? Okay, and I want us to think about this in a sober way.
It is so.
Do we honestly believe that tomorrow people will stop buying Reebok because Rick Ross was disrespectful to us?
It's
Do
crazy.
we honestly
I
believe
believe that
that?
happened. It's a start.
People buy it more.
Yeah?
I think people buy it more if they stay with them because then you already.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, what is it then? What is it then that actually happened in that situation? That maybe we could kind of like predict or what? What's the word? Speculate. Let's speculate for a moment. What is it that happened with Reebok? For them to, does Reebok honestly believe that people will stop buying Reebok because of Rick Ross?
Yeah.
I mean,
What happened?
the past few weeks, there's been that anti-rape and those things.
Yeah.
And they said the lyrics insinuated rape because it was how they broke it down was the lyrics basically mean you will give the lady some drug and then she won't even know what happened.
Yo.
You know, I think in terms of that, I think people who market are very smart. They're psychologists. You know, they're very smart people. So I'd say, and they appeal to a lot of how do I say gullible people. You know, people who you know, like
I get what you're saying.
I think more than anything, it was them attacking. They created something in order to attack it, in order to make a statement from it, in order to get publicity.
And look good.
Wow!
This was all his stuff. It's a stuff.
The one thing people don't realize is that marketers are psychologists.
Exactly.
That's one thing.
And they could put that out and say that they're pulling the endorsement, meanwhile it's still there.
Yeah.
You know?
No. If they pulled it, the most probably did, but the issue is that what was their goal? And if that was their goal, according to what you're saying,
because how does it look now?
Let's look at Tiger Woods as well.
It brings in a new dimension.
The whole against women and, you know, that kind of thing.
Because what was going on in the market around the time.
There's a cue now. Tiger Woods is back. He's number one. He's not number two.
Right?
Number one now.
Number one now.
All the guys who pulled out,
They're back.
don't you think they're all sitting and thinking, oh shit,
We shouldn't have.
they're back. So what does it
They do come back.
Exactly. So what does it mean now? Does it mean if you're a winner again? Bear in mind that we don't know whether he stopped cheating or whether that's personal. They endorsed him based on his where he is in society and the sport he plays. He's a champion there. It had nothing to do with his relationship with his wife. It had nothing to do with that. Now that he's back and he's number one, and these guys pulled out because they don't support a man who cheats, does it mean they support a man who cheats again now? You see, all of these things.
It's true. It's
You
true.
know,
Well, maybe because he apologized on live television.
Hey,
I'm sorry, guys.
That apology looks choreographed.
of course it is.
Okay, fine.
They sat him down and they told
It
him.
felt choreographed.
Okay, but let's look at it. Let's look at one strange anomaly. I don't know whether it's strange or whether it's something that has been practiced for a long time, but it's what you're talking about in terms of companies literally setting up a stunt. Because it sounds like a stunt. It's a marketing stunt to sponsor Rick Ross, that a creature that you know is just a messed up creature. Only to come and only to come and only to come back again and say
And I think that time
how does that work for you?
as well?
Because I wanted to bring in one more dimension, which is pressure groups. In marketing and public relations, we have what we call pressure groups that will mess up your brand if they tend to say, why are you sponsoring this man? This man is against women. Yeah, you guys are bad. Then they try to build up a momentum against your company.
And then one wrong
funded by who? By your competitors.
Yeah.
Funded by Nike, let's say, for example.
Yeah.
Against Reebok to say, hey, yo, guys, attack.
Do you want
And
to
then
support such a brand?
because of this, ask people if this is one. Because we are clean. What about them? So, but then what I'm saying is that in terms of stunts, how do you feel about those stunts? Are stunts like that, if they were possible, if they were done, if Reebok did, which right now it looks like they might have done it. It looks like they might have done it. A reasonable person will ask, why did you sponsor him in the first place? A reasonable person.
But how many? The thing is, with the market, you know what? We all know that the market, individually, there are smart people within the market. But as a collective, they tend to be very stupid. They tend to be very, very stupid as a collective. So once you get all of them as a group, you know, it's just you've got power. You've got them as individuals. Stuff what they say as individuals. Obviously, but when you're looking at word of mouth and all these different elements, then you talk about something else. But once you've got them to trust a certain brand and believe in it as a group, right? It's very hard for all of them to just walk away still.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very hard. So those are the little things we should look at. We human beings are smart, very dumb. We like this.
Yeah.
It's like genius and insanity and this Einstein, and if they get it wrong, they're insane. Time. Get it right, they're geniuses for the next 100 years, you know. Same with us. We're dumb, very dumb, and very smart. Average, we're one of the two. So
yes.
They say that any publicity is good publicity. So.
Exactly. Because earlier on, while we were speaking, I was thinking of me actually in the company. I like putting myself in the situation, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm looking at we spoke of male and female in technology as well. And I just stopped and I was like, when you look at technology, could we now say that females are not as in tune with this technological world and everything? Why are they behind men? Or are men just smarter, or do they just understand technology more? Or is it now a psychological thing? Is there a study now that can be presented and said, no, men just understand technology better, you know? So if I were to market the latest whatever gadget, I mean, okay, fine, I'm targeting everybody, but then men would get it. Would they understand this faster than women would, you know? So
I think it's fair to say that we all know that men tend to understand gadgets and technological products faster than women.
Yeah.
I think it's a question of numbers. It's not a question of
true or false.
It's not a question of saying if you put a man and a woman together on one product and say to them understand it, a man would understand it faster than first or whatever than a woman. It's not that question. The question is quantitative rather than qualitative. We're saying how many men would understand it first before the rest of the women understand it.
Yeah, true.
And the chances are that you will have more men understanding it first before, because then you have to look at all the other social factors.
Yes.
Women have to take care of kids, they have to cook, they have to
factors,
usually. And they don't have the energy.
That's another segment.
Yeah. So it's not something to be held against women to say, nah, you can't be a soldier because you're a woman. No, it's simply because on a typical woman's lifespan, the things that she's concerned about are not the same as what a man is concerned about. The amount of time that she has on a typical day is not as much because of the traditional roles. She has to cook for her husband. What is her husband could be lying down, doing nothing
has been updated.
for the whole day. Then she would have to cook and take off the kids, and then
even if the husband is a chef.
Yeah. So we can't necessarily.
They also want to feel like
they are
bound.
Charge of,
So yeah.
Women are bound by certain things that they can't run away from, that are difficult. But also, I used to think about this question. I used to say to myself, if you look at couples that have kids and they're both successful career people, who takes care of the kids? Have you checked? We all know.
Yeah.
It's the nanny.
That's the nanny.
It's the nanny. The nanny. The kids grow up knowing the nanny.
Yeah.
It's that's just the way it is. And the kids are fed by the nanny. They are bathed by the nanny. The nanny washes your clothes as the husband, irons your clothes as the husband. Your woman is out there being the CEO of some other company. So then it becomes a problem of saying, you as the man, you end up now trying to fall in love with the nanny.
Exactly.
You appreciate the nanny more.
You appreciate the nanny more.
And then now it becomes again a case of, how could he, but
the nanny, can you believe that? How can you do the nanny?
I think that with men, and then this whole, and
some more successful, making more money.
Okay, men tend to appreciate the little small things a woman does for him.
Yeah.
So now, as soon as a nanny does all these things and your wife is making money, sometimes it does not become, when it's time to appreciate, it's not about the money. Because those are emotional stuff now, when you appreciate.
Yeah, those are emotional things.
Yeah,
they're not.
And then
Done.
Then you
Before you know it, the nanny is pregnant.
Yeah, you know.
No one knows.
On a more psychological level, though, would you say that the fact that men typically do not want to go through manuals, they try to figure things out for themselves first, and once it's broken, only then go to the manual.
Yeah.
And that thing of trying to figure out a solution
It's
for,
nice,
for gadgets and those things, whereas women tend to want to understand how it works first before they actually use it.
Personally,
Would it be?
yeah, men love.
Effective.
I think me personally, I love exploring. I love a challenge of trying to, do something or trying to do that. I don't know. I think maybe majority of men just love that as well.
Yeah, you want to break something.
They can't
out
run away from
first.
it.
Yeah, we love challenging.
Yeah.
We like seeing how to do it first. We like testing. We like, females.
It's the natural instinct of a
Yeah.
man to go into a dark cave just to see what is in there.
Yeah,
exactly.
But
Yeah.
and it's also the natural tendency of a woman to not go into a dark cave, hold her kids and stay the hell away from a dark cave.
Rather get a torch first,
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
from a distance, and this torch has to be able to travel.
Yeah, she has to
Yeah.
see what is inside before she actually goes inside and sees what is inside.
Yeah, so that
But
could also be a
then a man wants to get in there and with a stick and actually explore
and try to see the
risk.
dark.
Yeah.
Then
It's one of those natural things that you can't run away from.
Yeah.
It's strange though how women are programmed like that as opposed to men. And in terms of saying, what part of the DNA actually says, be a challenger, be an explorer, be an experimenter. And that very same part of the DNA says, you don't be an experimenter, don't explore, just be safe because that is important.
Yeah.
It's critical because it's part of the survival of the species in terms of saying, if women explored like us, our kids would be dead half of the time. Half of our population would die before it reaches 5 years old.
Yeah.
But that's a fact. So then naturally it works for the human species for the females to be reserved and to be more protective and more fearful because then they are pregnant, so they have to protect the embryo, and after it has been born, they still have to protect it in its infancy. They have to avoid touching things, avoid exploring.
But with the animal kingdom, it's the same story.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It is the same
I was
story.
about to say that.
Yeah.
It's not
Because I was about to
tradition,
say that
it's
chances are-
instinctive. Yeah, it's instinctive.
And chances are the lower part of the population that is alive would be much stronger than we are right now and much smaller because they've had to face more challenges. If you think about it.
Not really. Statisticians will tell you, and population growth specialists, whatever you want to call them, statistics South Africa. A typical statistician will tell you that if a species, especially when it comes to human species, if a species like the human species can reproduce at a 1.8 rate, it becomes dangerous. And what is a 1.8 rate? It means that whenever a couple comes together, then they produce 1.8 children.
No, it's not Christian.
It starts becoming problematic. In fact, they said a 1.8 ratio usually becomes difficult to reverse, which means that the population is in decline. But they said that a population, for it to grow in a healthy way, to be healthy, it needs to grow at a 2.2 ratio, which means that for every 2 people that come together, they need to make 2.2 children. Let's say 3 children. Let's say 3 children to be on the safe side. 3 children, okay? For a population to be healthy, to have a future, which means that it's not going to go down. Because immediately when you go to 1.8, the population is in decline, which means that your civilization is going to end soon. Literally, because they say that 2 people come together, they make 1.8 children, which means that typically it's going to be one child. That one child meets with another child from another two couple, which means that you've reduced your population by, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
From 4 parents to 2 parents. Because those ones are not producing anymore. They've only produced one child. These two children come together. Then these 2 children also follow the same person. They produce one child, you're dead.
That's another way of looking at
So,
population.
population growth needs to be at minimum, the lowest 2.2. More than that is good. It's growing. You're growing. So for your culture not to become extinct, like the way the Japanese are in trouble now. Japanese are in trouble. Now they're encouraging people to,
What's wrong? What's happening with them now?
It's in decline because it has reached the 1.8 level. They're in trouble.
The Chinese as well.
The Chinese as well, yes.
The working class has become smaller.
Yeah. So they're also in trouble.
But wait, the Chinese are a lot.
No.
Why are we worrying about them?
But look at this blessing.
That's a whole continent.
The thing is, it's gonna affect the economy. Which means they're gonna get less money.
Probably have more older people.
Specifically to the working class. See, he's talking about the working class.
There are more people in retirement, and then there are more babies.
There's more fresh blood coming in.
And so what they're saying is, in a few years' time, they'll be needing 5 times the population of South Africa. That will be the deficit of a working class. About a 300
of the working class. I think
it's
very important to note
people.
that we're talking about that segment of the population.
If majority, or if let's say 60% is in retirement age, then there's a big problem.
Yeah.
Because now, who's gonna fill up the gaps? I mean, the guys, there's still innovation, there's still business, there's still IT, there's still what? You think those old guys are gonna come up with all these,
You know what's the sad thing about China? The sad thing about China is more importantly what he says in terms of saying this is the working class. It's a group. It's a segment. This is the poor class, the poor people. The law says all of you, 1 child per couple. I get it. All of you, working class and poor people. And then what happens? You see where it's going. So you can't come again and say, okay, guys, let's have 2 kids only for the working class because they got the skills, they got the intelligence, they got the education, and only 1 class for the poor people because you want to shrink the poor people. You can't say that. Unfortunately, whatever you apply to the working people, you have to apply to these guys.
But either way, again, we don't know. You can get a person from the working class that just freaking mates with a poor person again,
Well, the chances of that, I mean, it happens, but it doesn't happen on a frequency which is high enough to cause a difference in the working class. You need the working class themselves to procreate amongst themselves and make enough, because then people are gonna do educational policies for their children. They're gonna keep their children in the nice suburbs and what.
Okay, but like,
how
are they gonna solve this now?
So let everyone start doing again. Everyone.
They're gonna lose it in 1 generation. They're gonna decline a bit, and they're gonna pick up again.
Yeah,
that's what's gonna happen.
But I think that year or 2 or 5 years,
that's what I'm saying,
in which they elect 340 million working class deficit, is going to be crazy. But what I also get from
340 million.
Deficit.
Oh my gosh.
What I gather as well from
small fraction.
From that.
They're 1.6. That's a big chunk actually. It's 1.6, 1.7 billion now.
Yeah. What I gather from that culture as well is that they don't like this thing of classes. It's like we the royals. We don't mix with. No. No. So it's basically an embarrassment to the family to say, this is the woman I love, but her family is from some shack somewhere. No, you don't do that.
They've cultured that into themselves too much.
So chances are
that they're not gonna go and tap into the poor area, but they will still suffer seriously, because you see it's difficult now to reverse this, because now one thing we know about career people is that they always delay childbearing until it's late.
Always do,
in every nation.
And if it happens, it's gonna be that child.
It's gonna be that one child.
For, I don't know, it's in a mistake.
Exactly. If it happens, it will be that one child. And if it happens too much, it's 2 children. And you need 2.2, not 2.
Yeah.
So having 2 kids is still bad.
Problem.
So they're not even at the 1.8 mark.
They're not even there at the 1.2, I think. 1.2 mark, which is even worse. And according to statisticians, they say that you can't reverse anything below. Because you're caught in a cycle. But no civilization has ever reversed from past history. So in Spain, they're experiencing the same problem. In Japan, yes, in Spain, in Japan, they're experiencing the same problem. In a couple of countries, Switzerland, they're experiencing it's going down.
No,
and they can't stop it.
I don't
As much as they encourage people to do it, but
You can't reverse it in a certain space, in a certain time.
you get
You
caught.
can't just decide now that
Just
you're
like China.
children.
Just like China.
No,
China's
it's a psychological thing. No, and it is a psychological. I mean,
no, dude, think about this.
why would you just decide now at the age of 18, 19, 20, you know, if you are brought up in that?
You can't. You can't. You don't do it.
Yeah.
As much as like youth in South Africa would do it, even without a condom. Those guys they just don't do it. Or if they do it, they really seriously condomize and because that's what is cultured into them.
Basically, who they're gonna
Yeah.
marry. So, it's crazy.
You get caught in it.
Yeah.
Or once you're caught in it,
And it starts up here as well.
Yeah.
You can't just this next year, guys.
We want
I
to
know.
kids from you.
First years, it's South Africa.
in Japan they're in the same problem. In Japan and even in France. In France they I think they're managing the problem because in France I think they realized that a long time ago that they started instituting programs of, for example, there are government nannies.
Yeah.
So they say to you, no, don't worry about taking care of a kid. If you got a kid, the government will provide you with a nanny. The nanny washes your clothes from the government.
Yeah, French nannies, bro.
Yeah. Washes your clothes, feeds your children, irons your clothes. You can go work, no problem. But make children. You don't pay for kindergarten, crash. You don't pay. So they knew they saw that hey, this is bad a long time ago, and the French started working on that problem quite some time ago.
Yeah, probably 10 to 20 years, but 15 years.
Yeah, some time back.
Yeah.
Which China they're only catching up now.
Yeah.
But what worries me about China as well is that
Mm.
you get some really, really crazy families where it's important to them that they find out what gender the child is going to be, and if it's a girl, you terminate it immediately.
Yeah. And those are some of the things that are going to be difficult also to get out of the minds of people. Because now you need the girls all of a sudden.
Yo! Now you need the girls for the guys to marry.
You know?
You all the girls.
Exactly. You need the females to produce. You know? And if you had let, those 100 million live, trust me, you guys would be good by
Some
now.
are having twins and triplets.
Yeah,
You'd be good by now. But those 100 million that have been terminated, now what? There's like 15 million men probably there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In India, they had that culture as well of avoiding girls. Now, their male population is growing too fast. Look how many of them are here now trying to marry our women. Have you checked?
It's bad day.
From Pakistanis to Indians, how many are there here now? The women here. They're spread all over the place. They're trying to get our women. They don't have women that side.
Yeah, we need more females. But we sorted here.
But then it means that now their civilization is.
Yeah, we got a problem here.
Who bows here?
Making babies is not a problem.
Teenage pregnancy all of a sudden looks like a good thing.
It's a
Let's not encourage
teenage pregnancy.
It's still good by text or
America's fun. It has a lot of teenage pregnancy as well. But
America has a lot of teenage pregnancy.
But they obviously will not tell the world because Africa is supposed to be the only bad continent.
Yeah.
You think
in
we're
America.
bad? Americans.
Excuse me.
You think we are bad?
The 12-year-olds are already.
They're having kids.
No, but 12-year-olds are having kids.
Yeah.
As long as you're fertile, you must watch it. You're gonna get pregnant
And
now.
they all look like giants. So.
Yeah.
And then they just make a show.
Those I know it's 4.5. I watch it.
Or something.
Hey, they need to raise some
parents.
Yeah.
Hectic stuff.
They need to raise money for those kids. Yeah, you make a show about it.
Make a show about it.
You know?
Yeah.
And the good thing about it is that the way the money flows between the poor people and the middle class and the rich in America, it's a good flow.
Yes, the
It
American.
can be healthy to a certain extent because then part of that helps in the spreading of the wealth.
Show me power.
Part of that helps in the spreading of the wealth. And then it helps, because then if you have, if it's okay for you to have a girlfriend from the rural areas, then it becomes easier for the poorest of the poor to share in the wealth, because then they can marry into the middle class.
Yeah.
And the middle class can
no way,
marry into
there's no way you can avoid it. Like they do say you don't marry your girl, you marry her family. Like I've always, I mean, somehow it's true, because now you bring in your girl into your rich family or your middle class family or wealth, and what happens is now you share the wealth with her, but now she needs to look after the brother, she needs to make sure
exactly.
But then all of a sudden there's that
flow of money,
and if you can employ, or you've got the power to direct employment somewhere, it's your wife. She's gonna want you. You're gonna need to fine.
Bring your brother and work.
Done. I see it a lot.
It's true.
And that works actually.
It works,
people like, no. If families, or if you pick it right, I don't know how you can, but if that was encouraged by whoever, that would actually work. Wow.
Thing is,
especially with the guys which are in the middle class and these ones trying to creep in,
It works either way, whether you take one or you take the whole family. The fact is, dude, you salvaged.
Exactly.
You
but
managed
then, also on a government level, there are activities that also help to encourage integration. Because then if you don't encourage integration on a government level, you're also building a problem that you're not going to be able to deal with, which is going to end up being China's problem. Because then in South Africa, I've seen how the government is always trying to force low-cost housing to be close to your silver lakes,
Yeah, hey.
And I used to find that a problem. I'm like, nigga, please, you're gonna reduce the value of my house.
Yeah.
I spent 2 million to build this house, and now you're allowing these RDP houses to be basically next door to my 2 million house.
People start waiting and they move. Then the value drops. You see, and then. And then people see it as we're getting closer. Like, I'm not being racist, but they'll say we're getting closer to these white people.
Yeah.
You're not getting closer to these white people. They're moving. They moved elsewhere.
But then, before they move, you will have had access to them.
Yes, true.
Because it's easy for you to, it's easy for a guy chilling in this 2.2 million house to see the hot chicks from Mamelodi passing on the street. It's easier. And end up getting your wife because of that, who stays not so far, which is Mamelodi. As opposed to if you restrict the access, then this guy sitting in his 2.2 million house won't get the chance to see the hot chicks from Mamelodi. So he will only have to see the stuck-up nerd from another rich father, whatever. Then only end up making one kid.
Yeah.
Whatever the hot chick from Mamelodi is ready for it. She's always getting pregnant.
Yeah, she wants to leave.
Oh, man.
No,
Shit. It's real though. It's real though.
But I mean, if you feel my dream,
even with schools as well. Schools is a big part. That's why they recently were debating trying to eliminate this whole private schooling thing and just having one integrated school system. That as well is something very big.
It's important for
something
government to do.
very huge. Yeah.
It's important. Malls, the way people live, like their dwellings and where they shop and how they work, where they work. The more you force integration as a government, as part of your program, the more you avoid being in a situation like China, where China is now. Because now the Chinese I still find it difficult to mix with the people from the rural areas. They still find it difficult. They're like, I won't marry a woman from the rural areas, and that is bad.
I went to school with literally rich kids. Not the richest, but I went to school.
And you were not even half of them.
And I was like, and at the time I had 5 rand in my pocket, and this kid has 50 rand in his pocket.
Yeah.
Now that's a huge gap.
Yeah.
But now,
you had access
you
to
bump into them at Lemon Mall, and hey man, what's up? But this means now I'm giving the opportunity now to date one
Exactly.
They look at one of my own, and they, You know, black guy dating a white person and vice versa, and it becomes then there's dude. And kids from moms or kids from wherever actually. And it was actually quite interesting. The good and the bad, the rich and the so-called, lower class. They were all in one stable, and it was actually quite. Because now what happens is this: you learn to tolerate this one. And these ones understand these ones. And going home. You can simply just tell your mom, "Ma, no, it's not that."
Yes,
actually. And then 5 years, 10 years down the line, what kind of kids are you gonna have? A new generation.
It changes the.
Actually, now I get where you go with this whole. Actually, because as soon as your mom that is programmed into the whole 1976 uprising thingy that happened, you respect them, but they should get over it now. Because now I'm not gonna have a kid and tell them about a white person like that. The same way. Sharp, this happened. When I went to school with Angelo, I went to school with Mang Jansen, those are nice guys, I still talk to them now. Get over this whole thing. I think that's the only time we will ever move forward, otherwise we'll be stuck.
I think political.
But the integration is good though.
It's the integration thing,
the integration is good. I didn't see it till, the integration is actually going to be very smart. It's critical.
As a government program, to stabilize not only the economy, but also the country itself, as in terms of its social dynamics, social cohesion.
Because even the way they building malls in the hoods, they look similar to the malls they built wherever. So look at Sunny Park Mall. I got to Sunday. I lived in Sunnyside back when there were white people. Me personally, I grew up, went to Sunnyside Primary. There were actually white people living.
Which year was that?
Back in '97.
Okay.
Back in '97. From Arcadia Primary to Sunnyside Primary, '97, '98. You're part of that generation. In that generation, white people were still allowed to use it.
That was in the school.
Exactly.
There
were white people here.
But there were white people staying in this flat.
Exactly. My flat is white people. Neighbors, on that floor like 4 or 5. 5 years later, 10 years later, there's like only 2 apartments that had white people. And I actually got to see and experience the decrease in, the transition, everything just changed.
So you saw it,
And then Sunny Park wasn't what it was back then. The Sasso garage and, the infrastructure, everything was just on that, whatever, white, black people started coming through. But then the white infrastructure followed.
Exactly.
The white infrastructure.
That's the funny thing, isn't it?
The white people
left, but
the white infrastructure came into our community, and it's like.
And stuff was down in those days. You remember? Even Sunny Park, they were so down.
That's what I'm saying. Then they built the new Sunny Park, and I'm like, wait, but even in town, City Properties, smart ass people. What they did is they've got the center walk type of set, whatever you call it, a mall or whatever.
Smart.
Smartest. What they have there is this thing when you're walking and it's this empty room or empty whatever to let. It says white go east or white go to the east. Now when I looked at that, I laughed because now the tiles look like Mainland. They look like the Grove Mall. The trimming on the pillars, everything. It looks like you are in the east. Then they put something that says white go to the east. And they have brought that element and brought it to people in the CBD.
And the funny thing is that we are the very same people who go to mainland from this side. From this side, going to shore.
But now they brought all of that, and then we feel important. We feel like we can do this now. We can spend.
It was always our money.
Notice how let's just say the Sunny Park area, how it's changed since the pavilion. The place.
Whoa!
Got
exactly.
It
started with Sunny Park and
then and all of them start showing up.
The investment.
How the vibe is. Imagine when you get there, you don't feel like you in Sunnyside.
No, you don't.
For some reason,
when you get to Sunnyside, when you get to the area, go on a Saturday at 7. Then the big screen lights up. The other New York.
the LED.
Yeah, bro. And then it's Cubana with the orange.
Times Square.
Times Square.
That place looks beautiful. I swear, that place looks awesome. If you're Cubana, the view you have, the view you have at Spurs, beautiful. Now,
on both sides.
Exactly. So now what's going to happen is only it can only improve.
Grow. It's gonna grow.
Yeah. It's gonna
go that way, go that way.
You know, it can only get better.
And we all didn't see it coming.
Yeah.
But the integration was very. I don't know who's behind this. I need to shake his hand.
But then, if you think about it, the guys in the east, the guys in the east have seen so many people from the west. So it only made sense to go to the west for Wikubana, for Rapsonis, for all of these guys to go to the west because these people spend so much money on transport to go to the east.
Yeah.
So why don't you open
it?
I mean, the head office is the Spur in Etchardville.
Yeah.
And back then, when I was still at Spur, when the owners were like, no, we're opening a Spur in Etchardville, I was like, okay, this is, it's not weird. Not that
but that's fresh.
They've got people in the hoods have money. Some have money. That's why we've got the two.
Either way, you can capture the very same people that are going to the
exactly.
So
I was like,
they do.
Wow, they're opening a Spur on that side. You know, interesting. And then now when you go to Etchardville, you get this complex and this KFC, and then there's fish and chips. And I'm like, but this looks like town now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I love it. It's great, man.
I know. When was the last time you were in Namaskar? If you look at Namaskar now, the commercial area, you won't believe that you're in Namaskar. Like,
so it doesn't look like
it doesn't even look like Namaskar. If you look this side, is townhouses, right? Like bunch of townhouses. You look this side is that Kopano shopping center, which is
huge,
massive now, right? Then there's a bus station that side, and if you look this side, there's a mall. Just behind that mall, there's another mall being built.
Exactly.
Like it's completely different.
Like, no, some smart people sat down and thought about it, and you said it's the truth. Hey.
It's that old saying that black people don't have money, and then somebody said, "What? Are you kidding?"
No, they actually.
What?
How many?
They want to do it so they can spend it.
Yeah.
People just want to spend it somewhere. Black people are the one nation that they don't need to think twice. I think black people don't think twice. A white person will stop and then say, okay, budget. Okay. Then a black person come later.
Think about the budget later.
Exactly.
But then there are those influences which cause that. I mean, apart from the fact that if you had this strict middle class person, right? How they spend their money as opposed to the lower class, right? And remember, now in this country, the lower class is more than the middle class. We have a very small middle class in this country. The reason why it's always said that South Africa is one of the most unequal society in Africa. We are unequal. Why is that said? It's said because our middle class is small. Our lower class is huge. Our upper class is huge. Right? Which means that there are few people in the upper class, but they've got too much money. Right? They own a lot. Then there are too many people in the lower class, and they are too many in numbers.
Yeah.
So the power at the lower class is numbers, but the power at the upper class is money. You get it?
Yeah.
Those down there, their power is numbers. If you can control the numbers down there, you'll get rich. You see what I'm saying? So the issue is that numbers flock every day to city center, to Pretoria Central. Numbers used to flock. When I stayed here for some time, I realized that's how many numbers used to flock to one ShopRite on Church Street, almost in Edgar's, flocking. It was disgusting. People coming from too far just to come for that. And then ShopRite realized that there's so many people who flock here. Where do they come from? They come from far. Let's go there. You see, so then they start opening those ShopRites in those faraway corners.
And then they do something very smart. They open at 6, and then they close at 10. Yo, like how
which one?
convenient.
Like
this
which
one?
one?
The Sunnyside one.
You mean this one here?
Okay, where are we? There. Yeah, this one. Yeah, like
not 10, comrade.
What's that?
11.
Sure.
They close at 11.
Okay.
6 in the morning, I went to buy bread today.
Exactly, it's smart, but now
people buy it.
Even with working hours, people tend to think, people at this time don't buy. As soon as you tell a person, I close at 10, the Pick and Pay at the Center Walk. You see the Pick and Pay at Center Walk, it's opposite. Okay, in town there's like 5 KFCs, which 3 are like walking distance, are like 2 minutes away. There's that area there where it's in between the KFCs. That Pick and Pay, there's a Pick and Pay at Tramshed, there's a Pick and Pay at the new Center Walk mall or complex. That one closes at 8. On public holidays at 6. People do not even care which one's closer. They go to the one that closes late.
For some reason.
For some reason.
I guess it's habit as well.
It's business hours, bro. People.
It's so cool.
No.
I think it feels like they can take their time in there.
Exactly.
Even though they need their time.
Yeah, that's actually you don't need to rush, you don't need to do
I always find it cool when I walk through city center on a Sunday and I find the KFC open and people are buying. And everything else is closed.
Exactly.
It's so cool.
Do you know why they make
like
even if you want to take your business and open it, if people start knowing and noticing you open,
they can't spend.
Who says people don't buy on Sundays? Who says people don't make photocopies on Sundays?
Who says people don't go to the bank on Sunday?
Guys, I don't get these banks. Like, what's up? There'll be so much money.
I want to bank on Sunday.
I want to bank on Sunday. I want to go guys, inquiries, like something's wrong with
this. Exactly. Thank you.
Why?
There's something suspicious on my account.
Can
I've got time.
On a Sunday.
On a Sunday. Let me go there, chill.
They think. That's why there are these dumb marketers and these dumb corporate people, or they're just doing it on purpose.
No. It's really dumb. Yes, it's really dumb. I'm sorry to say that it's dumb, and it's failing to adapt. If Capitec could walk in and say, we will open on late on Saturday, we will open later,
5
we will open on Sunday. Then I looked at them and I said, what the? And I said, I used to be so pissed off, I used to be so angry when bank closed at 11:30 on Saturday. I used to get so bloody pissed off. I'm like, why guys? Why do you have to punish us? Why do you punish us so much?
And at least
I want to bank. And then people might change their car 1 on Saturday. Typical shops. As a bank, it's like at 11:30. What are you saying?
What are you saying? You open at 9 or at 8:30.
When I come out of work, I want to send my brother money. At least for Lanka 5. So that if you change like a 1 because money, I must have that extra time to come to the bank and send my important people money. Why do you want to punish us?
The thing is,
it's just wrong.
They can employ more people and capture a bigger market in the long run and make more money in the long run. Just get 4 more people to work. I mean,
closing at 3:30 on a weekday. That's just,
it's ridiculous.
It's foolish.
That's the thing.
It's ridiculous.
The first thing that companies will always cut when they're saving costs will always be what they spend on salaries.
On salaries, yeah.
And I think
you walk into a place, there's 1 cashier there sitting there. There's 5 stations there, but there's one person, and then there's this long line.
Yeah, the first thing that's
but then isn't it,
always tries
up to
cut
so
down
far,
salary.
Up to so far, it seems like there's a pattern emerging that actually market segments are basically dynamic. They're flexible. They change all the time.
Yes.
And what people will tell you today about a specific market segment, no, people in Mamelodi, they don't tweet. They don't tweet. But then you realize, after all this, you realize that things always change. The market segments change, but at the same time, what Capitec has done is they've showed us that you can actually change a market segment. You can actually alter it. Its behavior.
Yeah.
The banking community in the country, they looked at it and everybody said, ABSA said, no, 11. FNB said, 11. Standard Bank said, Netbank, everybody like, we know this market segment, dude. You can't tell us nothing.
They go to church, they do that.
Yeah, they do. Sunday, they're not going to come back. Then
I go to church on Fridays, I don't go on Sundays.
Have you seen mainland month and Sunday?
Imagine if all those banks...
Mainland is one of those ideas. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, all banks open on Sunday, end of the month. What do you think is going to happen to the bank?
Yeah.
I mean, if they were all open on a Sunday, end of the month, have you seen Sunnyside end of the month?
Yeah.
Have you seen Sunnyside?
New York.
Dude, 2 o'clock.
Town.
You know,
Don't
have you
want
seen
to-
all these places?
Yeah.
As soon as the banks open on Sundays, food and alcohol places are open on Sundays, probably even clothing stores, you know, and it's on that flexible business, like stuff, it's a Sunday, let's just open and do work. Do you know how much money would flock into just Sunnyside alone, or town alone, or wherever, Hammanskraal, or guys, we should just bring in an expert and tell them all these things.
I remember in 1999 when I first came into Sunnyside with my friends, and we were staying in Central. Central shuts down, right? 7, 8 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
In those days, it was even worse. Now it's a little bit
That was
better.
better. Now it's 9 o'clock.
But in those days, it was
You know,
bad.
9,
It was
yeah.
shut down, literally. 7 or 8. 8 o'clock shut down.
Yeah, hostel.
And then my friends brought me to Sunnyside. In those days, in 1999, people on the streets do. Like pizzas open, everything open. White shops were still dominating in those days.
Yeah.
I remember we ate a pizza at a white shop, some other funny white shop, and with Giovanni's Day were there,
Yeah.
and those other, yeah, all these.
Stelling or something else. Man.
I was like, wow, this is amazing. You know, I felt alive.
Yeah.
That now no one has to tell me that 8 o'clock, go home and sleep anymore. What generation?
It goes back to what you said about walking into a supermarket and you think, I've got like an hour left, like I need to be out of here. Because, I mean, guys, I know I'm inside and I'm safe, I can buy whatever. But as soon as you see a door closing or you see, you know, as soon as you see a security guard there with that little small space there, then you, damn, I have to just...
Your whole mind shuts down.
Exactly, you know.
But you know,
Yeah.
Steve Jobs said something in that video. You didn't see it anyway.
Yeah.
The guy saw it. Do you remember that part when he said, we were told one of the biggest secret in business is that in marketing, the most important, most critical thing is education.
Yes.
He said
That's
that,
about the
Yeah.
testing areas.
Yeah.
People so that they go back to the offices.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah.
If you educate your market, you can change it. Actually, that's the power of changing the market segment.
Exactly.
Because it seems like, if you check, it seems like what we've been taught from marketing textbooks is that we must observe market
create
segments
things for
things that exist.
Exactly.
But then what Steve Jobs realizes that no, actually, after observing, you can actually go inside and change them.
it around.
And make them to fit your business instead of you always thinking that you have to fit your business to the segment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But actually, you can actually go in and re-educate, literally re-engineer the entire segment that you want.
And on your bits and pieces and
To
remove a piece and put your piece there.
Yeah.
Straight up.
And literally fashion it to fit your business so your business can be more profitable.
Yeah,
Is that cool?
Yeah, no. When he raised it, I kind of just looked at him and I was like,
I was in the other room and then I heard that and I said,
yeah, it's like
oh, that's part of
it goes
You
down.
hear it, yeah.
It just goes down.
It resonates.
Stop.
Yes.
It's like,
Yeah.
well said.
It's one of our principles in Credo Bonde as well. We decided that we want to educate our customers.
When I got it, I was like, maybe that's the one thing that I'm missing. Or that's the one thing I'm actually going to invest a lot of time
You have to. You have to.
educate.
You have to.
Tell people why.
Why you need the
I understand you are this,
this.
I understand your hair is this, I understand you are, but let me tell you what's happening here. So, you know, I think we are all failed. Like, these companies or these guys just fail us there. You want us to use your brand, and you just give us what, dude, and I'm not going to mention any names. There's this new washing powder.
Yeah.
Whatever. No. There's
Ariel.
Yes.
Ariel.
Now, I sat there because I've got this advertising mentality. I always observe. I'm like, what are you teaching me? You know what's funny and pathetic about it, this new washing powder?
It's the same advert.
It's the same, the best testing lab, what.
Yeah.
The same huge sheet, the same...
Yeah.
It's the same advert.
The same stuff.
Some of the people in that advert, because for some reason I was very observant about this one. Some of the people in that they cast in that advert are actually in other adverts doing the same thing.
It's like the one agent. It's like
wow.
Agent.
Yeah, the same advertising agent.
It doesn't make sense now because now they should have looked at different faces because now we look at you and we think you are loyal to this brand. So,
Exactly.
well, I mean, You can't be in a Nike ad and be an Adidas ad. You can't.
It's bad for business.
It's bad for business. Now, why do they take this place and put it here, and then you go into a lab that looks similar to the one you went into there, and then you've got the same T-shirt demonstration.
Oh my god! Oh no!
They didn't do that T-shirt demonstration.
They didn't do that.
That's
sad.
The ad is very stupid. It's a South African brand. It's a South African brand, and now everyone has beetroot.
Beetroot, grape juice or whatever.
Oh man!
I'm thinking, they did not just do this to me.
Beetroot on top
Are we all
of
dumb?
the sheet.
Are we all dumb?
And they cut the sheet in half.
And then they cut it in half, and then they've got that long dress, and then they've got this one half which is like cream whitish, and
then this is the leading brand.
Exactly. Tested at the best lab, and I'm thinking, wait, those guys told us that last year. The other ones told us, the other one.
Lack of imagination.
It's the same advertising.
It's the same old guys who run that marketing.
Yeah, it is.
You know, had they
failure on an intellectual level, failure.
Because they're new to the market, so they had an opportunity to come in.
They had an opportunity to get childish. Honestly, at heart, we are all crazy. Somewhere, somehow, you just on that. You like new crazy things. I saw at the Summer Awards.
I like the Mac one of the duck laughing.
That was crazy. Every time I saw it, I thought of the Mac.
It's kind of like disgusting, but I was like,
it's like a boring song that sticks in your head.
But I can't forget it. Yeah. Every time if someone says washing bottom, like Mac. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah, it has gone. Yeah. You just need to focus on
shades.
I was watching the Summer Awards yesterday and I saw the marketing director of, I think MTN. I mean, I looked at him like, how does this guy lead a team that comes up with such crazy ads? And he looks old, but have you seen MTN ads? They, MTN ads.
I've seen those.
MTN ads. With all the network, MTN ads are the best for me, and they educate us.
Yeah, they're even better than Vodacom's.
Vodacom sucks.
Now because
Vodacom what?
There's one that's
MTN is cool now, man.
It's very cool. MTN is cool, and
it's almost like Chicken Licken. How cool Chicken Licken is now.
Chicken Licken is the best, man.
But Nando's is the best for you.
Oh man, dude.
But I don't know about Nando's. I haven't seen Nando's lately, but
Nando's.
I know that
Chicken Licken.
Nando's the new one. If you explain the new one, it's basically Parliament.
Yeah.
The whole setup looks like SABC News.
Okay.
And so this reporter is like, something bizarre happened in Parliament today, and then the lady says, basically this reporter lady speaks to one of the analysts to say. Shed some light. It's almost like a news bulletin. Shed some light as to what happened to Parliament. And members of Congress were walking out because they wanted Nando's, and basically the political analyst explains what's in the new Nando's meal.
Yeah.
And then the speaker, and then they take you to the footage at the whole Parliament, the whatever the place is.
Yeah.
And then the speaker,
Congress.
Yeah. And then the speaker now,
it's like
speaker pizza.
Yeah, it's just honorable member, today having pizza, pizza anyone, and then
they all get up and start walking out.
Getting up
and then with that political voice. Where are you all going?
Where are you all going?
And it's
order,
but when you sit and listen and you watch it,
so Parliament was serving pizza. They don't want pizza.
But it took honorable members to do pizza, honorable members. Pizza, and then at some point she says sushi anyone, and they're all walking out. Where are you all going? Where are you all going? I love it.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's good, man.
But then Vodacom went downhill. Like they're bringing fun, and then they're not even telling you what they have, what they do, what's new.
But the mascot, the whole mascot theme, where they had an ambassador.
Yeah.
That little
Meerkat.
and the old man and
Yebo Gogo.
you know the
Yeah.
comedians, the white guy with
Yes,
and the,
yes.
and
Yeah, I remember.
as soon as they cut that, then they never even knew.
You know what I called it? You know what I called it?
But
I see this
those
in
people
the
are always
lot.
dead. Check them out. They're always dead. They're always weak. The
No,
America,
they lack-
the Yobogo, they lack
No, no,
song,
no.
they lack us.
No.
Those are not South African, those are white. For the fuck is America? Do black people necessarily care about America? I mean, for
I only knew
themselves.
about it then. I only knew
Exactly.
about
People are like, what kind of animal
There's
is
an
this?
animal. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's Timon.
Yeah.
You know, that's
The
Timon.
theme song. I like the way you move.
King knows another. What do you
And
think?
the meerkat is dancing now.
You
No,
know,
I never connected with it. I never thought anyone in the township would connect with it. Unless you talk about the dancing. Now, and the dancing was also sleazy. It was almost like somebody stripping. We saw that the whole strip was like, what the hell?
A stripper meerkat.
and then they brought in the female
White people.
the female meerkat.
Straight.
No,
Yeah.
you can. You know what? Here's the thing. No, here's the thing. It was energetic. Like I could say it was energetic. It captured you and you just watch and just laugh. But thing is, what's the point? What are you telling me about Vodacom? Are you educating me on the new
Exactly.
style star 111 whatever to get this? No. Then
No.
personally, for the past 5 years, Vodacom has never taught me as an
It was not on an educational
It wasn't.
tip.
On the other hand, MTN will come and tell you, yo, on Thursdays, and it's funny,
Mahala.
get Mahala this and
Oh, yeah, I agree with you. I've seen
Exactly.
that.
You know,
Even that fat lady, what was she saying? Mahala! Okay, not Mahala, what? Onali. That fat lady who's laughing. This fat girl, see.
Mahala.
You get the
Talk
house.
of it on Friday.
Oh, that was educational.
Exactly.
That's
it was,
what.
it was funny.
Yeah.
It captured you, and it was educational.
Serious! Was it serious?
Straight.
Serious, yeah.
There was some phrase that they use that black people love,
Yeah.
and also white people could relate to.
Yeah.
But now, Vodacom, what are you gonna tell me? My own sister is on Vodacom. She doesn't get all these. She doesn't understand all these things. My mom on MTN will tell you, this is okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I see
You know,
that.
they understand.
And even Celsi, I mean, true.
Celsius-
Everybody was on the Celsi thing, yeah. Yeah, free.
Exact woman. Whoa, you can talk about fear.
On weekends.
On weekends, yeah. Hey, everybody was on it. I thought,
Even now the
that's
supercharged ad, even now with
Yeah.
the supercharged ad, it's not as funky, but this guy gets straight to the point and he's on some, yo, listen, do this, call whoever, and after that I dare you, check your airtime balance, it is 99 cents per minute, you know.
the news balance thing, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Celsius is literally just telling you, you know what, we give you 99 cents for real. Call for a minute and drop and check your airtime balance before and after, straight up. You know, and check your data bundles, check your SMSs, check your straight. Vodacom in the past couple of years, I'm sorry, they haven't
I
really
can't
taught me
remember
anything.
it. What's the current Vodacom ad?
No, I don't know.
There isn't. It's just a red background.
No, it's Kaizer Chiefs and Pirates. Very stupid still.
Would you?
No.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
That's what they do.
Yes.
They use these big
This
brands.
soccer.
They use the brands to market themselves.
Their
But for me, as a
Which doesn't work.
Which doesn't work.
Dude, I could care.
Because I focus on parents. I don't focus on you.
You know what Vodacom?
Yeah.
no, but
What would I think about Vodacom when I'm thinking about pirates? I mean, it doesn't make any
No.
sense.
for me as a Chief supporter, if I'm looking at the advert, I'm only thinking about the team I support.
You're supporting your team. You're not thinking about the guy who supports your team.
How does that then make
The
me?
one who's sponsoring. You're thinking, I support the team. I love the team.
But then as well, we say marketing is supposed to force a reaction from the consumer. How does me watching Kaizer Chiefs, because what I focus on now is Kaizer Chiefs, how does that make me react and say, okay, now I'm switching to Vodacom?
Okay, yes.
Nah.
True. Can look at that.
Especially with
Can
the
look
way
at that.
they market, like I you know what I mean. I've been paying attention to ads. I love ads. I always wait and I challenge it like, yo, let's see what you have. You know.
Okay, I see that. But I want to move away from the usual textbook knowledge that we have.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I don't know if you're interested in moving in that direction.
I'm not into textbook. I'm not into it.
Okay, not the textbook, but I want us to move into an unusual direction, right?
Yeah.
Which is market. We could call it market segment engineering.
Oh, whoa.
Okay, now in engineering it, like we would agree that certain companies, the way they've behaved so far, it really looks like they were engineering our thinking. They've been programming us to press the thing properly, press it hard.
This one of the one.
All of them. Yeah. Market segment engineering. Because I think we all know that the usual textbook approach.
Yeah.
Right? Is to we can talk about it the whole day. We know it, but a topic that might be taboo sometimes in textbook in marketing textbooks might be actually engineering a market segment, either altering it or creating it from scratch.
Yeah.
Ironically, I was reading an article. I think this was supposed to be probably on Monday. It was talking about how was it marketing being a science but rather moving away from it being an art and about kind of that it being more of a science. It's just like what I said before about marketers being psychologists as well.
Yes.
So it's more scientific more than anything,
engineering
more than anything.
But I feel that sometimes people are afraid to actually think about themselves as engineers of people's behaviors.
Yeah.
Like
they are afraid.
We don't want to say. It's like we don't want to say, oh, I made them behave like this so that they can buy my product. Instead of it's like, no, that's how they behave. That's why they buy my product. They behave like that.
And I altered my product because
to fit them. Yes, I've altered my product and fit it to them, but I didn't fashion their behavior. And of which many of the companies that we know, they fashion people's behaviors. And one of them is Apple. Apple has fashioned people's behavior. It has made people, think and want to go in a specific direction. It has created their own culture. They've created literally their own. People who are so patriotic and so focused on it, on Apple, that they don't even want to touch any other product. They don't care. You can literally try and convince them, look, buy something. Like, no, I want my Apple. Because they've created they've fashioned that behavior. So what I'm trying to ask myself is, how ready are we? How ready are we right now?
As a South African market.
As entrepreneurs here.
Oh, okay.
How ready are we to engineer a segment? What skills do we need? What type of thinking do we need? What are the conditions that would allow us to fashion, to engineer our own segments? Or to get into segments that actually already exist and turn them around to fit our businesses so that we can make a profit? How ready do you feel as Vincent? Do you feel that you could tomorrow? Do you feel that you would need to do some research? If you need to do some research, what do you think that research could be? What exactly does it take to do this?
I don't know what's starting tomorrow. But I think if there's one thing over the past 4 weeks that is being repeated, whatever it is that we talk about, it's one, company image, which was our first session, and two, people, or rather the market, doesn't know they need something until you give it to them, most of the time. And so I'd view it from that view stance and say, if you're going to go into a market and try to change the norm, the tradition, this is how it's been done mentality, I think you should go for it. I think
but I want you to focus on what you need to do to engineer it, rather than just going for it. But I think, just think about it for some time, but I want us to think about what tools do we need to engineer these
I think,
segments.
I can't put a finger on it. Like it is a very, very hard question.
Yeah.
What I would think is this. Firstly, obviously, like Steve Jobs, he knew the market. He knew what he produced in the services and products and whatever. He knew his company. So these are like two sides of the coin, right? And then there's a third part, which is the market. So, and he wants to take his product and put it in there. Now what he needs to do is, obviously, he knows what's happening on this side, he knows what his competitors are doing. He needs to bring in his own crazy idea. I think that's the key word. You need to give them what they already know and go crazy on that. I personally feel break boundaries, go crazy, give them cool, give them the future. Like, you know, I've never personally sat there and thought to myself, okay, what does the future of mobile look like in the next 5 years? Or let's say, not even mobile, we're in social media. Okay, what does the future of social media look like in the next 5 years? I think once I see that crazy side, or I feel like this is what could potentially happen, and it doesn't sound or seem realistic, you know, that's what we would have said 10 years back or 5 years back with the whole iPhone story. And I don't know, it can't be, phones can't be doing such, they can't be doing this. But actually, that's what's happening now. I think maybe that's how they looked at it. Like they stopped limiting themselves and looked at the future and took the crazy ideas or those stupid ideas and brought them and gave them life. I think personally that's what I think I'm gonna do with social media in my company. With especially media.
Yeah.
We are moving away from text. We are getting into pictures. Okay, we're into pictures, we've been there for a while, but then it can still get better. One of my ideas I'm actually sharing now is picture marketing. I spoke to my friend, he's got a marketing company. He was supposed to come in today. I was like, dude, what do you think of picture marketing? And he asked me, what's that? And I was like, and then it bothered me because I couldn't explain it properly. But now, basically, you guys, what I want to get into and look into is actually posting up a picture that does what anything does, educates. But it's fun, it's nice, it's interesting, but it actually educates. And I want to actually invest my time into such marketing. But now also move on to video and how far will it go with this whole video era that we're moving into, you know? And I'm gonna take the picture crazy side or visualize the future of picture upload and interaction and video as well, and how the company wants to grow and just go crazy with that idea, but obviously in a business sense. You know, I can't really answer your question straight, but I think I just went through it fast in my head, and that's how, that's the tool I'm gonna apply. Look into your company, look at the market, then again, look deep down, try to figure out what they could want or need and where your company wants to be, and then try put that all together. It's not gonna take a day, obviously, but it's gonna take a while. Yeah.
Look, there are most definitely things that people have, companies have created and then they've sold. They've convinced us that we need them, and they've sold those things to us. I mean, no doubt, the fact that you need to have great product development, it's also great. You know, you need to offer people something that really is going to benefit their lives, but you know, some of the stuff really never benefited our lives. We just did it because it was cool. Just because everybody else was doing it.
There's this video on TD, this guy, man, Simon something. I'm gonna get it from Itu. She introduced that diffusion of innovation, and this guy was talking about Apple, and he was talking about the why. You know how, like, why does a company exist and all these things and all of that. And then he also went on to compare companies back in history that had all the money, had all the finances, had everything they needed but failed. And then you get the guys, the guys who created the first plane, whatever they are.
The Wayne brothers?
Yes.
The Wright brothers.
The Wright brothers, yes, they.
Not the Wayans brothers.
Yeah, I know Ways.
Not the Wayans brothers.
No.
It's a scary movie.
Yeah. But he actually was like, there was this guy in history, right? He was a scientist or whatever. He was very famous. He had the backing of government. He had the backing of engineers, scientists, and everything. They gave him all the money, and they trusted him and said, "You know what? We'll give you whatever, $50,000, and you're gonna try and get us a machine that flies, or try to build a machine that flies, right?" And then he was this guy, proud guy, had everything, and he got the team, he got everything, and he was trying to get this thing to fly, and he couldn't do it, Then you get the Wright brothers, and they had some bicycle store and whatever, and they took all the money from there and invested into this little stupid project of theirs. And funny enough, they were the ones with no backing, with no support, with no media, and then cameras and papers following them, especially back then, with those big ass cameras. They didn't have all these guys following them. But when their first plane took off, no one was there to witness it. And as soon as it got out into the public that there's a flying machine, that other guy quit. Whatever his name is. Now this guy is standing there, he's busy presenting the story to us, and he's like, it's funny because we do not know of this great guy back in history. I don't know I forgot even his name. We don't know of this great guy who was a scientist, who was famous for all the right things. It's like the Cristiano Ronaldo of today, the Lionel Messi of today, the Maradonas of back then.
Yeah.
You don't know this guy, but you know the Wright brothers. But the Wright brothers didn't have anything, and this guy had even government backing. And funny enough, he quit as soon as these guys took flight. And he also goes on to explain about this evil. I don't know what it is. I don't know if you've ever some recording. TiVo, yes.
We call it PVR.
Yeah. He goes on to talk about those guys and how they failed when they had all the backing, they had all the resources, and I think we should all, I don't know, you should try to get that from Itu. And then you're gonna understand. I think from there you'll have a better picture as to the whole market engineering of this whole engineering of the markets and all of that. Because he explains now how Apple did it, and then he gets into how they looked at everything from a reverse angle, and how they started making products because they just wanted to change the status quo, and they wanted to, just go crazy. And they gave us a crazy product, but in a business sense, it was actually very good, and people actually loved it. So I think we should get next time. I don't know, probably during the week, we should actually watch it.
It's called Law of Diffusion of Innovation.
Yes, it's that one. And how they got the people onto Apple, and even with social media, man. They do what? There's Facebook. All the musicians are on it, and then there's Twitter, and then everybody jumps onto that. All the musicians and all these guys. And then Instagram. All of a sudden, boom! Rick Ross, Kim Kardashian, and all these people are onto it. Like, there's a pattern here. There's a pattern, and that pattern is derived from law of diffusion of innovation. If you go look into that, you're gonna see there's a pattern. They get, and then it's divided into the early adopters, the late adopters, the early majority, then the laggards at the end. The late adopters, as they call them. It's actually quite hectic. Once you understand that, you can re-engineer the whole market, and actually, again, go crazy and literally think. Go into Mars and actually look at your company and look at the market, and then start daydreaming, and then probably in the next year you'll think of something great to introduce. But otherwise, I feel like if you're trying to be, what's this word? If you're trying to be too reserved and you are afraid of breaking the limits, you're doing it on a sober mind. You're going to be doing business on a sober mind, and you're not going to be giving us something which is extraordinary. You'll give us something different, but these guys can copy it. Now, if you give us something different first, those guys will copy in the next year or two. But if you give us something which is completely out of space, how long did it took it took Samsung a while to catch on to Apple. After Apple had captured the market and grabbed everybody and yo, let's go. Then Samsung came with their S2s or S3s, and it took a while, and still they're competing with Apple. You know, they're still competing with Apple, and still with the MacBook and all these things. I mean, right, Windows is in every home, but still it doesn't compare to the performance and how this thing works. You know, so again, Apple is still leading in terms of innovation. Samsung caught up and overtook them, but now it's a race. But these guys already have their own market, you know. So, and there's always that trust and that loyalty again. If you're a first mover, loyalty straight. You get
okay. No, look, I see where you're going, and it's twofold. The first fold is what you're talking about, product innovation. Okay. But you know, I'm more concerned about the second fold, which is the selling of something, you know, without any great innovation or whatever, but selling something that is there, but you know, forcing it to be sold, which is the whole engineering issue has to talk to what did you do to force people to buy. Maybe force is a difficult word or a bad word, but to convince people to buy. What did you do? You might not have the best product, innovation. You might not be able to beat Apple, right? Right? You can't beat Apple. Apple is already too far. You are Samsung. You're doing Samsung E250, right? But you know, Apple is there. You are running around with E250 and you're like, I'm gonna get those guys, but first you gotta sell this. They already got that. So product innovation, yes, I can see this fine, but what I'm saying is, for you to sell the Samsung E250, you need a certain level of ingenuity. You need to create the market.
You know,
because they know that everybody wants that, but so I'm trying to zero in on the tools that can be used. The tools that are being used by some of the big guys. Let's also focus on the tools. And we touched on that. The issue that one company can influence 50 cents to buy, to wear their clothes. That's engineering. That's engineering. Because then I was thinking about it, but Eliab touched on something like that, which is the issue that as Reebok, you will pay 50 cents to wear Reebok, because through that then you can engineer the desire to buy Reebok via the masses, because you know that the masses are looking at it. That's pure engineering. Yeah, that's pure influence. It's one of the tools that has been discovered. Nike will approach Tiger Woods. That's just pure lab engineering. You sat down, you engineered it. It's not because Nike is better than Reebok. It's not because Nike is great. It's because people see their hero wearing it.
That's the law. That's the law of diffusion of innovation. Getting the leaders in community and using them to actually attract everyone else. Because now everybody looks up to this one guy. And I mean, exactly what I was talking about Instagram. Yeah. I mean, without Rick Ross, Kim Kardashian, and all these people using Instagram wouldn't be. But with those people,
yeah, but that's one.
Same as Twitter as well.
Yeah, Twitter as well.
If Twitter didn't have celebrities on it, no one would be on Twitter. Because
that's one.
Except for Mexico.
Yes, true. That's one of the tools that we've been able to.
I don't know what you're doing in your time,
right?
It's those but I care about what Kim.
The leaders in community.
One thing that baffles me when your brand is so strong that it influences someone who is not particularly going to sell you well. Look at Gucci. I mean, if I admire Gucci and now all of a sudden I'm this heavily tattooed person.
Exactly, I'm also
and I call myself Gucci man.
That's gonna be difficult.
How now? How do I reconcile my brand to this person?
But then, unfortunately, you can't control who consumes your brand. It's gonna be hard for you to control who consumes your brand. That's for sure.
But if someone calls himself Gucci man, I think doesn't Gucci have the right to tell this guy, yo?
No.
No,
Because Gucci is a surname, so
Not really. It's
you can name your
it's-
child.
Oh, yeah.
As long as it's also not a company name or a brand name.
Yeah.
You just call him yourself. I mean, you can call yourself whatever you want to call
Technically,
yourself.
Gucci Man is a brand.
So, but also, if Rick Ross decided that he's going to continue wearing Reebok,
They can't stop.
whether they cancel his sponsorship and sing about it. Reebok, my Reebok, it's the best. Then there's nothing you can do about it.
It's like our Eminem did. So you can't stop. You can't stop.
So now you get a person that calls themselves your brand and
Well, they can't say I'm representing Reebok, and they can't say I am Reebok, but they can say that I love this thing, so I nicknamed myself this, so then no one can legally it's okay. But immediately when they start claiming to be representatives, that's when you can sue them.
this
See what I'm
legal thing is just-
So okay, fine. I see celebrities. So far, that's one tool. Because you see, the thing is, I want us to zero in on the tools and be able to name them one by one. I don't want us to talk generics and say,
Yeah.
Well, I'd say one. I'm pretty much say that it's the not last line of marketing, but then once you create a problem for people, create a reason for people to use your product or brand or whatever you're selling. It's another thing as well.
So it's
create a problem that
Create a problem that
not physically.
yes, yeah. Obviously,
No.
We'll get it.
Create a problem
Yeah.
that only your product could solve, or only
So example,
yes.
Create a.
like we were talking about the phones earlier on.
I
So
can
specific
give you a
brand.
very huge
So basically,
Yeah.
your E250, right?
Yeah.
You would be saying, okay, there's a problem with phones nowadays, or there's a problem with the phones that our current market of people are using. They are 1, 2, 3, 4. This is their problem, and all of that. But that could all be solved with this one phone that can actually just resolve this one problem. And is that where you're going?
type thing. Exactly. That's exactly.
Look, you could create a virtual problem. You could create a problem that doesn't even exist.
Exactly.
You can
Basically, you create a problem that doesn't exist.
Yeah, and then basically advertise it to be a problem
And advertise it to be a problem.
and provide a solution for it
Insurance
and actually
companies
sell.
do that
Basically.
every day.
Yeah.
Well, apart from insurance, yes, which is, I'm not sure if insurance, because the insurance is based on saying, look, you might get hurt, you might lose your car.
Yeah, but
Yes, you might.
Yeah.
Have you heard the people?
You might.
You heard them talk.
Yeah.
The guy on
Yeah.
screen is busy saying you know, what if?
But
You
what
go
about
to work and your kid is gonna. Then they create a scenario and you're thinking, oh shit,
It should happen.
you know?
It's based on fear.
Yeah, exactly. They
Yeah.
know that story. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
But look, with insurance now, I believe, personally I believe you don't have a choice with insurance. You don't have a choice. You have to buy insurance. For your house, for your car, for your life, for all kinds of things. Look, I don't think you can run
For
away
your life,
from the
you're not
fact.
even going to spend it.
I doubt that you can. If you were super rich, you wouldn't need insurance.
Exactly.
But even the super
Yeah,
rich
but-
still buy insurance for their projects.
Because you don't want to lose money.
But then, yes, yeah. So I don't think you can run away from insurance at the end of the day.
Insurance.
And you to be wiser to buy shares in an insurance company.
Alright.
But then media, how media also. I mean, if you spread your stuff through media, you tend to make people want to buy your product, even though it's got nothing to do with its innovation or its ingenuity or its creativity.
Awareness.
But just simply because people see it, they want to buy it.
Yeah, it goes back to
Impressions.
the whole music video thing you said earlier.
Yeah, well, music video is more celebrity because celebrity is one level, but media is another, which is advertising. It has nothing to do with celebrities.
Yeah.
It's just or what people actually like. But it's,
media is like super sport, right? You watching a lot of men watch super sport. We all watch soccer at some point. You're watching Manchester United play Chelsea, and all of a sudden the screen is cropped and there's an MTN ad. But now that whole Barclays Premiership viewing is sponsored by MTN. So for every match which is played in the English League, it's going to have that MTN logo there.
Yeah.
You know, that's straight up.
so we could call it visibility.
Yes.
Through visibility alone, you could actually sell your product successfully.
Oh, so
You could actually literally engineer people's buying habits without having to answer questions of whether is this product really good, is it the best on the market actually, or whatever. Just through visibility.
Right.
I've learned that through visibility alone, you can sell anything. You can sell anything. Vodacom could be 10 times better than MTN, but if you see MTN more than Vodacom, you will buy MTN.
That's why they are
visibility.
In the past, I think, is it from 2011 to 2012, they had 20 million more subscribers onto their network. That's when the CEO got this huge package, and everybody was complaining about why they should be building houses. You know they are with that. Dude, he worked. Whoever. Exactly.
Yeah,
performance.
if I take it to this level,
I'll
then
get
you give
this
me
amount.
6 mil.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, you got money. It's cool. Sorted. You got double what he earns.
Yeah.
So, you know, that is something else. And that was because MTN was in our screens all the time. We were laughing half the time. We were, you know, they even had this wrestling ad. There's this wrestling ad they had where the yellow guy beats the blue guy or beats the other red guy. And then you know, MTN just beat up the other network.
The other one that said it's now red.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that was very funny.
But Red Bull as well. If you look at Red Bull and how you get someone who's very adventure driven, like Richard Branson, and you say here's a sailing ship with a giant ass Red Bull sail there to sail across.
It's visibility, because you know that the news are going to
a
cover it.
balloon or something.
Yeah.
And then that guy who jumps out of space from the edge of space.
Yeah, with
From-
the Red Bull.
From that Red Bull
Flag.
looking like
Yeah.
can. It looked like
Yeah.
a Red Bull can, a supersized
I
one.
love that new ad.
It's because you're creating.
There's a new ad that it's like it dares you to dream, it dares you to challenge life, it
They have a
dares you.
magazine as well.
Oh my
That's
gosh,
the
I saw
thing.
that ad and I was like,
And they're
Just
doing
for
Cell
that.
C. They're doing Cell C.
yeah.
The Red Bull is doing Cell C. Isn't it?
Yeah,
The
it
Red
is.
Bull Mobile. The Red Bull
Mobile thing. Is this
But not with Cell C.
Yeah.
And then there's recommendations. Getting someone who's powerful and important to recommend your brand.
Yeah, that's the
That's
thing.
part of how you engineer people's perceptions so that they can be able to buy your brand.
The talk show lady, Nolene.
Yes.
She's on the ad.
She's on this ad.
She's on the new
I was
ad.
disgusted. I'm like, what the hell?
She's on the new ad. Yeah.
Look at voice.
The one she uses for radio.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and she's on. You know, she even. That's when she was like,
Now people are gonna buy it.
it's over.
Done.
She already is in it. You already bought.
Exactly, it worked. It worked. You know.
Sorry, sister, they got you.
They got you.
Got you with Nolene.
Go on. You know.
The secret weapon.
Nolene got you.
You know, because she walks into this lab, and I'm thinking, really?
It's
You
the
know,
lab.
yeah, it's the lab.
It's Nolene and she was wearing leggings.
You know, done.
Brown leggings.
Yeah, the celebrities.
So recommendations also work. Then okay, fine. Then there is the last one is culture and entertainment, I guess. If you can find a way of infusing your brand into the culture of people, you know, culture and entertainment, wherever people go and have fun and get entertained, then find a way of weaving your brand in. Like I like the example that CJ likes to give of Kawaii, you know, how they infuse their brand into what was that?
Survival.
Into survival, and you know,
Sponsorship, yeah.
basically, you know.
Yeah.
Then it's like the brand is just there next to the people's entertainment. You know what I'm saying?
All the time. I see that.
It's just like the MTN one that you're talking.
Straight.
So
all South Africans that care about any genre that was mentioned, they most who are interested in the Summer Awards. But they are not called they are called the MTN Summer Awards. You know? And for every hashtag on Twitter, it's MTN Summers. For the MTN Summer nominees.
you attach yourself to the people's entertainment and the culture.
Yes, exactly.
Red Bull as well, the skating tournaments, it's the Red
Exactly.
Bull.
You attach yourself there.
Whatever.
Once you check the Red Bull magazine,
The
you
Vodacom
see
Bulls.
what exactly
Yeah,
The
those guys are
Vodacom,
into.
it's,
Blue
you see,
Bulls, yeah.
you see, in soccer, it's not the Vodacom Kaizer Chiefs.
Yeah.
But with
Right.
rugby, funny enough, there was the MTN Lions, there was the Vodacom Bulls or Vodacom Bulls.
Yeah.
There's the Free State Chiefs as well.
Toyota.
Then there's DHL Stormers, whatever they are. And I'm thinking,
that's nice. It shows you how companies are becoming aggressive in attaching themselves to people's culture and entertainment. Because then, if you attach yourself strongly, then you're guaranteed.
Look at the Sevens Rugby World Series. It's the
Blitz.
It's the HSBC World Series, isn't it?
Yeah. Wait, man. What is Blitz? Because now, what's
Blitz?
this?
Blitz is like
There's Blitz on. There's Blitz.
Blitz Bokkers.
Yeah. What?
No. There's Blitz. The
Super Sport Blitz.
yes, the channel.
Yes, the channel.
Yeah, I know the channel
The
as
channel
well.
is like the Springbok. It's a sevens. It's called the Blitz Bokkers.
Yeah.
It's sponsored by Super Sport.
Yo, you see, that's what I'm getting at.
Blitz.
Yeah.
The channel.
Because funny enough, I call them Blitz Bokker. I also understand them as Blitz Bokker. Then I know it's the Sevens thing.
Yeah.
Well, Super Sport has also sponsored the soccer team before.
Super Sport United belongs.
Yes.
It owns it.
Yeah.
So
It's always
it's part of those are some of the ways that you attach yourself to. You just attach yourself there, you've got guaranteed returns. That it's not a question of whether you're the best. It's not a question of whether your product is the best or not. It's not a question of whether you've innovated, you've been creative, or like Steve Jobs. It's not even a question of that. You could be the most useless guy on the market. Just because you attach yourself to that,
It's
you
like
guaranteed
music.
returns.
It's like music. Who's this guy? 2 Chainz. He was the dumbest rapper there is in the industry. But he has been featuring in so many great tracks. And now he seems relevant. Because all his friends
they attached it.
it was like a campaign. I literally watched it and I'm like, he's with this guy. You with Wayne, you with Drake, you with Rick Ross, you with and then you become relevant.
Now I couldn't even understand how he raps. I thought it was kind of like not rap. I was like, but why does this guy rap like this?
What is rap?
It's just lazy. It's like it's almost like it's like the guy is not. It's like he doesn't know what he's rap. It's kind of like confusing. You don't know what he raps. Have you checked?
No, I think it's
I'm like, what? Wait, can't you rap properly?
Like,
No, but there's no rhymes. It's worse than flow.
No, now up in rap world, what they call it is urban pop. It's not rap anymore, technically. Hip hop.
No, like this.
As you see, it's urban pop. It's not in the genre of rap per se.
Yeah,
but then
I mean,
so it's more
it has
about branding
transformed,
now.
guys. No, it has changed or it
Yes.
has evolved. We don't know, but something has happened. Something happened. So hey,
No, but someone is
So-
messaging me up Trinidad James. I can't.
I don't even know who that is.
So the guy no gold.
No, I don't know. I'm fine.
It's good, you know.
I'm happy.
Yeah, it's for the best to do it.
So guys, it's important that as we build our brands as entrepreneurs and our companies, we do what the big guys have done all the time, which is these are the tools that are becoming clearer as the tools of actually engineering a situation where your product is bought. Because I'm afraid that as young entrepreneurs, we spend too much time on our products and too little time on social engineering, on market segment engineering. And we tend to fail because we have these wonderful products, but we have failed to sell them. We have failed to prepare the market, to make the market actually desire our products. You understand? At the end of the day, you find that our projects fail. But then if we use these simple and fantastic market segmentation engineering tricks, we find that we become more successful. Because in the world, like we always say, it's not just only about your product, it's also about who knows you, especially in marketing. And these tools, data engineering, it's more about actually making more people, forcing more people to know you than normally they would if you were just normal. Like, I'm just doing myself normal.
As well.
Exactly.
Amstel sponsored the MTN Summers last night. Although that whole Amstel setting was just, I don't see how it was. Did you see that?
It didn't work.
Which one?
Wait.
It didn't work.
It didn't work.
Like, what did someone say?
Then, dude, okay. Backstage, after you win an award, you go backstage, right? Then there was an Amstel corner, the green corner, they call it. It was like they took
a wall,
a corner of a wall, and put some counter thingy, like some desk thingy, something like that.
Yeah.
But then they put like empty bottles or bottles filled with Amstel, whatever they.
Like that.
But then there was like a corner that you'd find at any of the clubs around. Yeah. That's literally
nothing.
It looked cheap. It
No,
looked
for me,
low budget.
it reminded me of some bar or bottle store where there's a mirror and
How
then
can you too?
they're all different
Exactly, man.
types of.
Even Hatfield.
Oh yeah. I see a typical bar.
A typical bar, you know.
It didn't work.
Dude, not even a club here in Sunnyside. There's one here, I just don't want to mention. It looks way better. The branding in there is top notch. And I'm thinking, this is MTN with a lot of money. You know, these are the summers that can afford to, you know, host this whole thing, and there's SABC. Couldn't they at least invest in?
But then it means that I guess if you start seeing what Amstel showing their faces at the MTN summer, it means that MTN is saying we don't want to spend all the money anymore. So Amstel come and take some of the costs. It means that that's what they say.
I think it's also because Amstel is also under a lot of pressure from company, you know, from other alcohol brands such as Castle Light and
advertising.
Advertising. Have you noticed that Hansa has the Hansa Music Festival?
Yeah.
And Castle Light has the
codes, whatever, yeah.
Where they take international artists and they bring them here.
Yeah.
That's super marketing right there. Like,
and Heineken.
Kanye West here.
UEFA.
And sponsored by Castle Light. And everybody was talking Castle Light. You know?
Yeah, it is true. Though.
And immediately after,
as soon as you speak Castle Light concert, you like.
And
okay,
who's the next one?
Who's the next one?
Now Castle Light has 3 concerts lined up. Hansa just did the first hologram concert in Africa.
It was disastrous.
Was it?
It was good for Hansa advertising, but the actual event, no.
But it's good. It works.
No, but it
People
worked.
buy Hansa was
And Miller with the Miller girls wearing cartoon
And the Miller brand as well.
Yeah.
It's so
The
unique
Miller
as well.
well.
Exactly. And then Amstel. Because Heineken, UEFA Champions League. I mean,
Amstel used to be with the UEFA.
Yeah, and then it was withdrawn, and then Heineken was put up there, and then now Amstel is suffering. But now, here's a
taking themselves to sport.
But quickly, here's a question now. Are you gonna spend your money and sponsor or buy into, let's say, the summers, just for your corner to look pathetic? I mean, is that really an investment?
Well,
or the visibility just does it? Okay, no, they show me, it's fine. I mean,
it depends on how you look at it, and it depends on how it's done. But traditionally, we would say maximize your sport, maximize the opportunity that you get. Look, if they did not maximize it, I can understand, but you have to critically analyze the maximization. Those are some of the issues. How do you place a sign? Do you place it that way? Where is it?
Or is it just say like
what? Issues like that. Those become more technical. The deeper you go, the more technical it gets in terms of how big the sign is supposed to be. What level. Then people come up with all kinds of ideas. They tell you, no, if you put it at knee height, people will recognize it better because people tend to look at, the body of a person, what they're wearing. And then someone says, no, if you put it at the face level, it's better because people want to see the expression level. Then all kinds of concepts start to compete. Now you're going to have to make your own decision as to what do you think is going to work.
But that one,
you see,
there's no. Like I hear you.
If you
are right, but you know what? I feel like
it could be anything.
It was negative. I feel like yes, they maximized or whatever they did.
It
was for the execution.
I'm still mentioned
the idea was
during ad breaks and so forth. I'm still mentioned.
It was mentioned.
Yeah.
It was there. Like the whole I'm still this, I'm still that.
Whatever.
But as soon as you saw it, you see the thing is, guys. As soon as you saw it, the emotion which was sparked was negative on the viewer side.
Right.
So now, was it? I don't feel like you should just maximize and put your eggs in.
It's not always perfect. People do mess up, but at the same time, somebody actually advised that they do a bar style, and then that person might have had whatever reasons they have. Maybe they said, for example, People are used to bars. Yeah, they see bars everywhere. So let's give them something familiar because they can connect to something familiar. Then somebody might say, no, but people see those bars, but people prefer the waiters who bring them because it's more classy, it makes them feel more powerful when a waiter brings the drink to them rather than going to a bar. People can look at the end of the day. One of the most difficult and most contentious competitive environments is when you put 2 or 3 marketing people together and you ask them, how should we play this? You're gonna end up with a bomb. It's gonna be the most disastrous thing to ever. Most of the time, you want to avoid that. You want to say, hey, look, Vincent, do your thing. There's no one who's gonna come and argue with you, or no, you are the one who's gonna tell us, what theme are you going with? Are you gonna go with the bar theme? Are you gonna go with the balloons theme, whatever? And then we go with that. Now, if your theme doesn't work, if at the end of the day, when we do an audit of the market and we check whether what you did during that has it increased ratings or has it dropped down, it will determine whether you get fired or not. So, but unfortunately, it's difficult for you to come up with a so-called standard, the right way of doing it. It's difficult, especially in marketing. In marketing, everybody got all kinds of ideas. You know what I'm saying? So it can be easy for you now to criticize the guy who did that Amstel one. But the only way to judge whether he actually succeeded or not is when you do a market audit and you see, and then you check how many people are talking about Amstel after that event. Then it can result in whether he gets a bonus or he gets fired.
Yeah. It didn't work because.
But you cannot judge it.
Nobody spoke about.
We're talking about the guy who peed himself.
Exactly.
That was the vendor guy who peed himself.
But guys, there are specific ways.
I didn't even see that.
There are specific ways, guys, of measuring whether marketing actually works or not, or has worked or not, or whether it's called brand equity. Measuring brand equity, there are tools that are generally accepted in the market, and then there are those that are controversial. But the general ones that are accepted in the market have specific methodology attached to them. You don't just say because you had a few friends saying this, then it means that. Actually, you have to follow a specific methodology. For example, you have to calculate the number of mentions in newspapers, the number of mentions in magazines, all magazines in the specific country. You have to look at the number of mentions on websites. You have to look at the number of mentions on entertainment websites. You have to look at the number of mentions on social media. And what those people were saying. You crunch all that information, all that data, and maybe some other few that I'm not aware of right now. You bring them, you crunch them into one pot, then you come up with some brand equity, which can also be measured in rands these days. People can actually tell you your brand is worth 1 million rands. According to our measurements, the number of mentions you got in all entertainment sites. So let's not take it lightly and say, obviously Amstel didn't make it, but you scientifically, or in the market world today, we can actually measure your brand equity. If somebody says to you the Apple brand is worth 75 billion rand, it's based on specific measurements that are made. It's not just a speculation.
I actually noticed that there's a company that actually does that with social media as well.
Okay.
It's for example, I saw a link, like someone posted something on my Twitter account, and then I opened that link. Basically, it takes your Twitter account, looks at the number of people you have following you and the number of people you following, and literally they tell you how much your Twitter account is worth. And retweets. Actually, yeah, and then
calculates retweets as well.
It tells you how much your Twitter account is worth.
Yeah,
basically. Because apparently, with Twitter, if you have a specific number of followers, they start paying you for.
Oh yeah, they pay you to tweet.
Yeah.
They basically because the more you tweet, the more
activity.
The more activity, So you are very important to them. Yeah.
Those are some of the tricks of calculating how much a brand is worth, how much a Twitter account is worth, how much is the brand of Malema worth. If Malema speaks, how much is he covered?
Yeah.
So then you say, okay, if I invite Malema to graduation party, I'm guaranteed of so much exposure. Or if I invite him to the opening of my club somewhere, his brand is worth so much, so you want him. That's how Barack Man can you make money for years.
Money.
She used to get paid. She said she was charging 80,000 just to appear.
And then her book,
and then
her book on release was like top 3 nationwide.
Yeah.
From what I heard. Right.
So just bestseller for about 2 weeks.
What is that based on? It's not just about Horo, you just hear about Bonang, but related. It's not a perfect calculation, but it gives you a fair idea. Horo, what are you dealing with here? Are you dealing with $1 million person? A $10,000 person? What are you dealing with? Then you can make, marketing decisions based on that.
I know. Opportunity to touch those 3 points you had there. 3 of the 4 points that were there.
Yeah.
They could have designed a chair.
They did not do something. I don't care now what she says. They didn't do something. I swear. That's why I said. The thing is
true that
with the stage and the performance and the lighting they had, it looked nice.
It was beautiful.
But now the problem is they were not on the same level. You see the
general event. Okay.
Yeah, I need to transfer actually.
Okay, one last thing, guys, before we close, which I thought would be interesting for us to discuss a little bit, is the LSM. In short, let's do. I think that's your watch. Let's do a quick roundabout. I know that those one. We can do a quick roundabout of what we feel the living standards in this country really are. I mean, that's important to how we do business. Let's, how do you feel? How many people are in poverty actually in this country, guys? And how does that affect business? How many people are rich and what do they afford? And in terms of what you're doing, how does it?
I think let's look at Pep.
You like Pep?
I think they're one of the smartest people there. Bro.
Yeah. They always a lot of text. Anyway. They sell very cheap clothing. They sell everything cheap. Cheap phones are getting to pay. You're not gonna find a phone which is more than 1,000 probably or 1.3. Like they sell 100 rands phones. 120. I actually considered buying a 100 rands. You lose a phone now. Next time you're gonna go buy
I'm taking 89 rands.
No, buy it and then you sort out everything else. You sort out everything else during the week. They are smart. The majority of this country, or let me say a huge percentage of this country is poor. A huge percentage. Or is lower class.
For those.
So now,
how does that affect your business decisions? Because then ultimately you're going to have to come to that. Yes. But for now, I think you must finish your analysis of the situation first before we talk about how you think it affects the way you do business.
The thing is, there's a huge majority of lower class people in this country. And Pep gives them exactly what they want. Cheap clothing, cheap everything, and they make a killing. And small money makes a lot of money. We all know that. Small money makes a lot of money. Exactly. So if I'm gonna look at doing business and I have to look at the lower class population that we have. In my case right now, social media again, and looking at entertainment, looking at all these things. The truth is this: people love things. People are interested in. They're interested in TV. They're interested in this, and the lower class people are into entertainment. I just have to create something that they are also interested in. The thing is, I may not have. I need to look at the fact that if I were to put video capabilities there or function or feature or whatever, they're probably not even gonna, they're just gonna look at them like, yo, hold up, dude.
People still don't use video on Facebook, eh?
Exactly.
It's amazing how people still don't use that.
I actually don't.
Facebook.
I actually don't. But looking at
and it's one of the best videos you can get. It's even better than YouTube.
Apparently,
It's better than YouTube.
they've invested so much money.
Facebook video loads perfectly, beautifully, and faster than YouTube.
So looking at that, I mean, that market is going to be interested in what I want to give them. Me personally, us. They're going to be interested in what I want to give them, because as long as they can get into Facebook, they can get onto my platform as well. As long as they have access to radio, they have access to television, they'll be interested in what I'm going to give them. Otherwise, a lot of again, I mean, you have to look at.
So the majority of your target market is in that lower place.
It's lower and higher. So there's not a lot of stress, because a lot of people have access to radio. A lot of people have access to television. SABC 1 to ETV, besides network, satellite TV. So as long as I've got access to that, I'm sorted as a business person. But now, if you obviously now making your makeup of watches or jewelry, then hey, you gonna have to kind of just just sidestep them a bit, unless you're creating something which is very, very, very cheap.
For me, it's just a random thought. I don't even think it fits in. It's just an observation. People in townships or areas they call ghetto, they always complain that they don't have jobs, yet every day they have sufficient money for alcohol.
Ish.
Okay, that is one of the in terms of living standards, measured or measuring. How does that?
I don't get it. That taverns are always full. They're always having these stock fails.
Can I tell you something about that, right? One thing, funny enough, right? I spoke with a couple of friends of mine a couple of weeks ago, that the only reason people drink in the ghetto actually is because they have nothing better to do. If they did have something else better to do, other than
but then you need money to drink.
Yes.
Yeah, but
I need to drink.
You need somewhere to spend your money.
I get his point.
You need somewhere to spend your money. If there's no soccer fields at my spot, me and my boys are just gonna chill and buy a case of beer and just get drunk.
Yeah.
But it means
How
much are you spending a year on alcohol? No way.
It's that allocation of funds.
I'm not saying it's good. But I'm telling you what's happening.
No, but
the main reasons behind it.
It's fine.
Look at it. Look at the reasons.
Yeah.
On the flip side,
because they don't have anything to entertain themselves with.
Yes.
It's just like the whole thing with TV. Why do black households have a lot of kids? Because there's nothing to watch.
Back in the day there wasn't TV.
It's work.
He eats and then after he goes to bed with money and then another kid is work.
TV, what I understand.
If there's no phone, if there's nothing
else,
if there's no TV, there'll be more kids in the house.
Poor people have like 7 kids.
One in the rural areas.
No, in the shack, there are people like
there will be less time for sex, more time for education.
Yeah, they tell you, wait, I'm watching Shinoda. You want to get laid in that 30 minutes, that 30 minutes gone, that could have been used for shack.
But there's one, okay, fine. Without sounding like we're trying to counsel them, because the session of understanding LSMs is not going to be a question of saying, okay, fine, we want to change these people's behaviors, because we're just trying to understand what are we dealing with? Who are these people?
Yeah.
Right? Market engineering is something else. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
That's second level. So, but the thing is, they have this money that they spend on alcohol, which they put together and buy a case and get drunk. Right? Okay, I understand that you're saying that they're wasting their money, so to say, you can put it like that. But the truth is that if they didn't go to a Shabin, and a Shabin is one of the most important employers in the townships. That's another problem with it. But we're not going to get into that. The issue is that they drink a lot. That's the issue. The issue is that they drink. Is that what we're saying? And they drink because
better to do.
There's nothing else better to do.
Yeah.
And
what is it that they're supposed to do? Okay, let's say
create something.
When Sundowns wins in Mamelodi, what do you think happens?
Goes back.
But even working.
But what is it that they were supposed to be doing?
I'd say, well, whatever product.
Reducing the number of cases.
reducing the number of cases, but then again, you won't just go out and...
Guys,
But you have to
it's a
create
culture
something.
which starts from grade 1, from preschool. And this goes back to extramural activities even in primary schools in the hoods. If I went to, I grew up here in Sunside Primary, and I knew that on every Tuesday or every Tuesday and Thursday or every Tuesday and whatever, I've got a cricket practice on these days and I've got a cricket match on this day, right? And if I'm not doing that, then I'm playing soccer elsewhere, or I'm bothering some girl elsewhere, But now, majority of my time or my thinking habits were spent around constructive things or plans or whatever that I had. So it's a cultural thing. It's like Brazilian football, it's like our football. It sucks because the academies are bad, and in Brazil it's the opposite. America and their swimming academies and stuff, brilliant, it's a culture. We do not have that culture, and it's not going to change anytime soon, because now the hood.
Once you alter that.
Yeah, the hood.
Once
alcohol is I don't know. It takes priority.
Yeah, but let's chop these things one by one. We're done with alcohol. What else is going on in this so-called lower class? Let's say in the townships. Is the townships, because even the townships are divided into richer sections and poorer sections, so to say. There are people driving the latest BMWs in the townships. So then we need to be able to still understand actually how many people are like that in the townships who are driving these latest cars. Do they actually drive these cars around and you find that in the bank they only have 1,000 rands left because they paid so many bills and this car is so expensive and they're staying in a township that they broke. Actually, but they're driving around in this car.
Chances are the reason why one of the factors that contributes to him being able to drive that car is because he is still in the hood and doesn't have a Moy-Kloof house. He doesn't have.
So part of the reason that he's driving this nice car is because he doesn't have to pay the high rate.
Exactly.
The high rate of.
I can still bank some of the cash that I could be driving.
Saves money.
A Toyota or a Tata 1.1 and live in Moy-Kloof. But then hey. What do they call it?
But then again, it goes back to the mentality and the whole thing of what's an asset and what's a liability.
No, I understand that. The thing about living standards measure, as it's practiced right now, that even Statistics SA does, is that they just look at how are the people living. Because if we understand how the people are living with, what is the situation right now in South Africa? How many millionaires do we have? How many billionaires do we have? How many people do we have living in suburbs? How many black people do we live in? Do we have living in good, strong suburbs? How many, Indians do we have? Where are they? How many colors do we have? How many rich colors do we have? Do we have a certain level of understanding of, what situation are we in? Like let's say, for example, the situation of politics in South Africa. How does that influence your ability to do business internationally?
It does.
Issues like that. So you try to do an assessment of what is the situation, guys, that we are facing. That is either an obstacle or it's a promoter of what we're trying to do. What you are trying to do in your specific business, maybe, or generally for business.
General obstacle for business, education, health, whatever. Information. Information means having info to books. Having info to books means having info to the internet. The internet gives information everything.
Yeah.
So I'd say, to us, internet connectivity more than anything.
But you need to know how to use it.
But then, what is the situation of that very internet right now in this country? That's what we're looking at.
It's expensive.
What is the situation? How many people have access to the internet? How many people actually understand, the internet and can use it?
Well, we have a culture of very expensive internet and basically. So it's only recently that the prices have been dropping, of which I saw it coming, he saw it coming, we've been waiting. It was spoken of at my broadband conference last year.
Yeah.
And with all the IT leaders in the industry, especially CEOs of MTN, Vodacom, all those guys were there, and the conclusion was, okay, no, we have to start dropping. We need to get South Africans online. We need to get a lot of
The problem
them
is
online.
getting them online.
You know, the problem is getting them online. But again, the data bundles are expensive. So what's the plan? What's the way forward? Reduce the price. That's why you see Cell C, Vodacom, everybody is reduced. MTN is reduced, and so that's what's happening. As soon as the lower class can also afford to have a smartphone that has got internet connectivity and they can buy cheap data bundles. And
somebody said to me, you know, one of the most difficult things in South Africa is to have 1 million rands in your account. He said that is the toughest thing for our middle class, for generally in South Africa. If they say that this person has 1 million rands, we're not talking about millionaires, which are few, but the rest of us, for the majority of South Africans, he said.
Million is hard to reach, and the moment you reach that million, chances are you are gone now. It's gone now. Now it's 20 mils. Now you're upping it.
I mean,
the moment
you know how to
the moment you
make
reach a certain point.
But what is it that makes it so difficult for us as South Africans to actually get to 1 million? What are the obstacles that we're facing? You must actually get 1 million. Like,
I think we
limitations
live too
and
much for other
stereotypes.
people as well.
Yes.
You're right. That's
I think we live too much for
Government
other
also
people.
made us lazy.
what do you mean? I don't understand.
I'll
I mean-
get back to that.
I mean, if I'm driving a G, okay, you won't be driving a G63 without a million. If I'm driving a Golf 7, I'm automatically better than my next door neighbor who's still in his city Golf.
Chances are
And
you.
so when you compete like that, you don't know what's going on, the situation with the other person.
No,
And
true.
now-
Are you talking about career people or are you talking about entrepreneurs? Because then people who are building careers we can be sure that less than 1% of them will ever reach 1 million in their entire lifetime.
They're not there
Whether
for
you're
the
working
million.
as, they're not there for the million.
They're there for security.
They're there for.
To
That's what we're sure about that. Whether you're working in a bank, we know that for you to reach 1 million there, that's gonna be tough. If you're an employee, but if you
now
are,
we're talking
unless you're at a higher level, like you're a CEO of a big company, then I understand.
Yeah.
You're not an employee.
But then
from intro-
for entrepreneurs,
I think dependency. We have a culture of feeling entitled to things, and that's why people
Spoon-fed.
refer to themselves as entrepreneurs. Yet they get a tender.
but I think I see what you're saying, but I think
Yeah.
one of the biggest problems that we're facing is security.
Yeah.
I think for a small
I don't
business to grow in this
understand
country,
You're right.
security is one thing that I believe has destroyed too many companies, too many businesses, too many young entrepreneurs that I've seen trying to make it, were put out of business in one go. They come, they steal your shit in one day, gone. They break into your office, they take your stuff, you're out of business. I've seen too many situations like that. And I've realized, I think, now thinking about it, I think security is one of those, problems that small business, faces today. I was involved with friends of mine in the past in a fashion shop. I remember asking my friend, because I was busy with them, I was contributing to the thing, and I said, "Are you gonna put an alarm in here?" It was a shop on Essex Street. And she said, "No, we're not gonna put an alarm." Then the other guy said, "Nah, they won't even know. They'll think there's an alarm. They're not gonna break it." And the minute they broke in, they took everything in that shop. That's when she decided to put a security ADT. And, she was working. So basically, it was a question of, she's going to rely on her salary to rebuild the business. But apart from that, she stopped paying ADT at one point because of terrible business management. ADT switched off the alarm. Within 2 days, they broke in, they took everything. After that, business was over. She could never bounce back.
Ouch.
I had another friend of mine as well. We were running an internet cafe. They came, they took all our computers. The business went out of business. The company went out. And I've seen too many of those situations that, I realized that, security is safekeeping of your assets, the things that you use to actually create the money. What can be your laptop, whether it can be your whatever, your car if you're using it, or your computers or whatever, or your catering equipment, or it could be your manufacturing equipment or your construction equipment. The minute they steal your truck that you use for construction, you can literally be out of business.
Yeah.
And I think, putting it in another way, maybe we could call it crime, but I think crime is a little bit too general. I'd like to call it security because exactly,
yeah.
It's more financially linked because you have to spend on security.
You have to have money to spend on security. You're starting up a business.
And small businesses are the easiest target in this country. If you check, the easiest target, but small businesses don't spend on security. the easiest targets ever. Small toties just target you and they take your stuff and you're out.
Had you not talked about security, I think I would have thought about it in about
5
years.
Exactly.
No. Wait now. Let's wait now.
How we are as South Africa. Having said that, the top, the higher income people get or own most of the
resources and the means of production,
and the majority being third world is exposed to all of that. That creates a lot of things, conflict between
laziness.
You are exposed to first world living lifestyles. But yet you're living in a third world. That mind fucks you in a way. That I'd say
but
is
stealing
one of the
10
challenges
computers does not
consumers
get you a
are facing.
Lamborghini.
Well,
See?
entrepreneurs as well. Yeah. Because it's hard. You're trying to run a business. You don't have a laptop. You don't have. It's those are first world. Laptop is first world. No matter how you might look at it, it's cell phone and mobile. It's first world. And yet these are the things, the tools in which if you're not going to be farming in a third world country, chances are it's going to be very hard for you to break into that
first world economy.
That's how I see it. I see it as people in a third world country trying to break into a first world economy, yet being in a third world, yet being categorized as a third world. Because that's the problem that I've seen. That's one thing that I'd say that it's one very big thing.
Hey, look. And that's a very strong point, because if you think about it,
the catch-22 because it's hard to fix. It's not something that you can just say, it's easy.
But then it might come back. It might come back if we look at it from a solution point of view to the issue that people come up with stock fares not to buy laptops but to party.
Yes, right.
Where's the stock fair?
Or people
entrepreneurs.
Yeah, people go out drinking, guys. Like the working class, they are out spending money all the time.
And collectively
celebrating what? Doing what? They forever drinking. You're gonna pop a bottle worth 900 rand in a club, right? Only to come back tomorrow and
you don't have gas money.
And that's why the few celebrities in South Africa, they're still
exactly. But the thing is,
get old with money
with
and
the wealth and everything.
Thing is,
just like soccer players.
Yes. Thing is, they don't look at it in that way.
This generation,
they don't look at it
No, before this generation, like probably 10 years, 10 years, looking 10 years back. This generation, do not mess with this generation. They earn, 200K a month, like, it's not all of them, but now the thing is, there's a lot of money put into football in this country. We're the most paying league in the continent, you see. So they grab a player from any stupid team in the league and a big team comes and takes you and like, yo, listen, we'll give you 150K, 150,000 from 12,000. Like, what do you think is gonna happen to that child? You know,
That child is not being educated on spending 150.
dude, from 12,000 to 150,000. Whoa. Dude.
But they open
It's-
businesses now.
it's
man.
content,
You
yeah.
see Chabalala with this fishing tips.
Exactly. No. You see, the thing is with soccer now, they're educating them.
Yeah.
Huh?
Not all of them.
Some
but
of
No,
them-
not
The
all
thing
of
is,
them.
dude, you have to adjust to that league.
Yeah, some of them.
And you have to
also
have the
done
education to adjust to that league. You know?
Until Charlie's one of the Dunderheads were born in the same hospital.
Anyway, ultimately, maybe in
That's
conclusion,
that's one thing.
the issue of understanding the living standards in South Africa is something that's going to help us to create businesses which are, which are smart based on the environment that we are based in, rather than businesses that pretend as if, well, not even pretend actually, but businesses that neglect and ignore the current environment within which they exist, and they get literally destroyed by the environment that they're in because they ignore. So they're negligent. Negligence is a very dangerous thing. I've seen businesses being destroyed because of negligence, and we need to understand the environment within which we operate, so that we build our business systems intelligently to navigate away from those dangers, those pitfalls, and become successful.
Can we get the LSMs from those census things?
Yes, so
There's a website as well.
Statistics South Africa does
Which is
that.
your LSM as well. You go
But
and
when I get the LSM, what am I going to be seeing?
You're going to understand basically all the living standards across the country.
Is it going to be percentages,
numbers, how much people actually earn, how many people earn below 5,000 per month in this entire country. They tell you that. If you want to know how many people earn above 60,000 rands per annum, they tell you that. It's so fantastic. It's such important information, and most of it is free that you can get on the Stats SA website.
Yeah.
They literally give you pie charts and maps. South Africa as a whole. Like you can get Gauteng only, Gauteng. They show you with color coding, like, and they tell you 70,000 people who stay in Gauteng, they what. It's such incredible intelligence for you to build your product, because you can even target province by province what you need to do, where you should focus most of your money and what not, where not to, and where people earn the kind of money that you're looking for. Which suburbs, for example, have, then you can target more easily. It's really one of the most important things. If a company wants to go and invest in another country, the first thing they look for is the statistics. LSM is included in there. Everything, it tells you everything about the crime rate in areas of Joburg. You can see it. It's fantastic.
just highlight the whole area.
I was amazed.
Highlight the whole thing.
The thing is, people have a generalized idea about these things, but they don't understand what actually you can target specific areas according to how much they earn, and actually build businesses which are intelligent based on that data. Rather than thinking that rich people are just running around everywhere, or poor people are just everywhere, but actually you can understand, and quantify it, and actually do an intelligent marketing plan based on those kind of issues. On the Stats SA website, you can get all kinds of charts, last year's ones, from the last census.
Yeah.
Free stuff online, you can get it. Understand, it's incredible. I was amazed.
Yeah.
I used to think they sell that information like big money.
Oh, no, they sell, okay, well, not the
Some.
But then there's certain information that
they sell.
Well,
Yeah.
the kind
It's
that
their
the kind
business.
that you want. The kind that I want, they always sell. Yeah.
But that information is usually for big multinationals, big conglomerates. Coca-Cola, they're the ones who buy that.
Yeah, Coca-Cola would.
Not
but
you need the basic.
You need the basic. You want to know about Joburg. You want to know about Gauteng.
Yeah.
You want to know about Cape Town.
Yeah.
They want to know, like,
Some other stuff.
no, how many coffee shops are in Cape Town, So,
I might want to know that, They don't know what I need. Let me just give you that info.